Chapter 13-15. Seeing Jing Xiaolu sitting in the driver's seat, Bao Sanli was not surprised. He had heard from Bai Hai about the incident at KFC. Later, Yang Ming entrusted him to book a car for Jing Xiaolu, so Bao Sanli had regarded Jing Xiaolu as Yang Ming's woman. As for Zhou Jiejie, Bao Sanli had also seen her before. Although she rarely appeared in Yang Ming's company, he often saw her when he delivered fruits and vegetables to Yang Ming's home. He knew that she was Yang Ming's girlfriend. Brother Yang, sister-in-law. Bao Sanli saw Yang Ming, Jing Xiaolu, and Zhou Jiejie get off the car and nodded to them. He had obviously included Jing Xiaolu in the list of Yang Ming's girlfriends. Jing Xiaolu felt sweet in her heart. She glanced at Yang Ming and saw that he did not show any unpleasant expression. He did not deny it to Bao Sanli, so she was even more proud. You came very quickly. Yang Ming was very satisfied with Bao Sanli's current work efficiency. He was swift and decisive and never procrastinated. I just live nearby. Isn't it fast? Bao Sanli listened to Yang Ming praising him and immediately smiled. Brother Yang, it's so late. What's the matter with you coming to the company? In the past 2 days, have you heard about the private rumors among the employees in the company? Yang Ming glanced at Bao Sanli and directly talked about business. Rumors spread in private. Bao Sanli was stunned and looked at Yang Ming inexplicably. He didn't know why Yang Ming suddenly asked him about the company's gossip. However, when he saw Jing Xiaolu next to Yang Ming, there must be some bad rumors in the company that reached Yang Ming's ears. Thinking of this, Bao Sanli was shocked and began to try to recall if there was anything strange in the company in the past 2 days. However, Bao Sanli was not in the company all day long. He still had a lot of things to do every day, so he couldn't fully understand what rumors were among the employees. After thinking for a long time, he remembered that when the secretary reported to him this evening, she mentioned something suspicious. Brother Yang, what you said is not a farce in the company, right? Is it said that a female employee shamelessly posted her photos on the internet and used her body in exchange for the right to use a BMW for a week? Farce. Shameless. Yang Ming glanced at Bao Sanli and asked coldly. Seeing Yang Ming's ashen face, Bao Sanli's heart was shocked. Did I say something wrong? However, why would Yang Ming be interested in this kind of thing? Brother Yang. I just heard about it when the secretary reported to me today. I don't know the details. Bao Sanli saw Yang Ming's unhappy look and quickly lowered his head. Farce. You just treat it as a farce? Yang Ming asked, you didn't think about investigating the cause of the matter? I'm sorry, Brother Yang. I failed in my duty. Although Bao Sanli didn't know why Yang Ming was so angry, it must be related to this rumor. Bao Sanli quickly reviewed himself. Indeed, I didn't pay attention at the beginning, and I didn't investigate afterward. Seeing Bao Sanli's attitude, Yang Ming's anger dissipated. Indeed, Bao Sanli, as the company's general manager, did not have so much energy to understand these trivial matters. However, some trivial matters were not trivial. They could affect the overall fate of a company. Many very large companies often began to decline because of some trivial matters. In the end, it developed into an uncontrollable situation, and the company was pushed to extinction. The person in the post is Xiaolu. Yang Ming glanced at Bao Sanli and said faintly, do you think she is shameless? She wants to use herself in exchange for the right to use a BMW for a week. Bao Sanli's cold sweat came out. He didn't expect that the person in the post would be Jing Xiaolu. Then, obviously, this post couldn't be posted by Jing Xiaolu herself. Jing Xiaolu used her own body in exchange for the right to use a BMW. It was simply unbelievable. Jing Xiaolu was driving Yang Ming's BMW just now, and the car she ordered would arrive tomorrow. Jing Xiaolu would have her own car. How could she do such a thing? Unless she had water in her head, of course, it was impossible for Jing Xiaolu's head to have water in it. The only possibility was that Jing Xiaolu was framed by others. And Bao Sanli was no longer the original boorish man. He also knew how to use his brain. Now, he was more meticulous in his crudeness. After thinking about it, he understood why Yang Ming was so angry. Jing Xiaolu didn't post the post herself, so the post must be posted by someone else. Then, who was the person who posted this? There was no need to think about it. It must be someone inside the company. There was a conflict between colleagues, and they used this kind of despicable means to attack and frame each other. It was simply despicable to a certain extent. If this matter was not handled well, the people in the company would follow suit in the future. Then, could the company still be good? Of course, this was only one of the reasons. Secondly, what was the relationship between Jing Xiaolu and Yang Ming? Bao Sanli had long regarded them as a family, so how could Yang Ming not be angry when Jing Xiaolu was involved in this kind of thing? Did Yang Ming's girlfriend need to do this kind of thing? However, when his secretary reported this to him, it was obviously hearsay. He didn't confirm who the female employee was, nor did he investigate the truth of this matter. He just told it to him as a joke. Brother Yang, I understand. I will investigate this matter thoroughly. Thinking of this, Bao Sanli quickly promised. You investigate. How are you going to investigate? Yang Ming looked at Bao Sanli's solemn expression and couldn't help but be amused. Do you know computers? Can you find out who posted the post? This. Bao Sanli was speechless. Yes, he thought it was simple before. If he wanted to investigate thoroughly, he should be able to find out the problem. But now the key question was, how was he going to investigate? It was useless to just think about investigating. The main problem was how to investigate. Indeed, he didn't understand computer technology. He couldn't start with the computer. If he talked to the employees one by one, let's not talk about whether it would be effective. Even if it was effective, it would take a long time. Therefore, this was the stupidest method, and it wasn't feasible at all. Thinking of this, Bao Sanli was a little discouraged, but then he thought that since Yang Ming asked this, it meant that he must have full confidence. Otherwise, Yang Ming wouldn't ask him like this. Brother Yang, do you have a good idea? Bao Sanli's eyes turned and asked. You brat. Yang Ming laughed and slapped the back of Bao Sanli's head. You are quite smart now. Yes, you know Zhou Jie, but her other identity is a computer expert. Yang Ming pointed to Zhou Jie and said, I asked you to open the door. As for the other things, let Jie investigate it. Bao Sanli didn't expect the woman around Yang Ming to have this ability, but Yang Ming said so it must be true. Otherwise, Yang Ming wouldn't bring Zhou Jie here. Otherwise, wouldn't they be exposed after a while? So, Bao Sanli looked at Zhou Jie with admiration. It turns out that Miss Zhou is also a capable person. It seems that I am the only mediocre person around Brother Yang. What do you mean? Are you trying to bully me? I am an assistant in the company. You are the general manager. If you are mediocre, then I am nothing. Jing Xiaolu was a little unhappy when she heard Bao Sanli's words. Bao Sanli secretly complained. He thought, I just flattered Zhou Jie, but I forgot about this lady around me. So, he quickly changed the topic. How can that be? Brother Yang just thinks that I am too stupid and wants to train you to be my successor. That's more like it. Although she knew that Bao Sanli was talking nonsense, Jing Xiaolu still nodded happily. Yang Ming also secretly laughed at Jing Xiaolu for actually caring about this, but he didn't say anything to her. After all, she had just been framed. She was in a bad mood. At this time, joking with Bao Sonli could also relieve her depressed mood. Bao Sonli opened the company's door and accompanied Yang Ming into the company. Jing Xiaolu and Zhou Jiejie walked in front. Brother Yang, it seems that I have to pay more attention to the management of the company. Bao Sonli said as he went upstairs. I used to manage a nightclub, but that was different from the company's management. If the disputes between these employees were to be made, it would also be a big deal. And it's good that you have this determination. I won't blame you for this time's matter. Yang Ming waved his hand. However, the atmosphere in a company is related to the fate and development of the company. We must correct these unrighteous tendencies and stifle this evil trend in time. Otherwise, if everyone follows suit, how can the company develop? I know, Brother Yang. I will pay attention in the future. Bao Sonli nodded. Right, Brother Yang, you see, Xiaolu's ability is almost there. Do you want to promote her to the executive deputy general manager? Old Ho and I usually have to go back and forth. The projects of Dong Hai and President Hua can't be stopped, and we are not often in the company. The management of the company can't do without our own people. Although my secretary is a trustworthy person, after all, he is not a family member. Just like this time's matter, he hasn't realized the seriousness, and he hasn't seriously inquired about who the employee was. Therefore, his business sensitivity and awareness are still lacking. Xiaolu is often in the company, and she can help us collect some information. You can promote whoever you want. I won't interfere. Yang Ming looked at Bao Sonli and smiled. If you think her ability is enough, then use her. It's purely because of her joke. Don't take it seriously. I'm not a nepotistic person. Of course, her ability is definitely enough. Bao Sonli nodded. At least, she is better than me. Xiaolu is still a very capable person. Moreover, in today's society, who doesn't have some ability? Those who can apply to enter our company are mostly bachelor's or master's degrees. Even the typists have a technical secondary education. So, when it comes to ability, no one can say that they are better than others. The key is still to look at the connections. How can the politics of a company be so complicated by you? Yang Ming smiled, but he didn't refute. This was the case. In many companies, most of the management were related to the chairman, and they generally had no education. Instead, their subordinates were college graduates or graduate students. Then, it's settled. I will discuss with Old Ho tomorrow and then make the appointment. Bao Sonli said, we can't let Xiaolu be wronged for nothing, right? Besides, there is the most important point. Xiaolu's level is not enough. She will get off work immediately after opening a company. It will cause criticism. Others will say that she is just an assistant to the general manager, but she drives a BMW. Okay, if there is really criticism, then she is the vice president at such a young age. Isn't it more enviable? Yang Ming glared at Bao Sonli. I'm not afraid of what others will say. Private enterprises are like this. We are not the only one. Even the aunties who are related to the boss can be the leader. Others can't say anything. Bao Sonli smiled and stopped talking about this topic. Right, the car has arrived. The car key is in my hand. I have sent it to get the license plate registered. It will be back tomorrow. And, when the car arrives, you can give the key to Xiaolu directly tomorrow. Yang Ming nodded and didn't take it seriously. A car was nothing to him. Sister-in-law Mingyan's Audi A5 has also arrived. I also went to get the license plate registered. I let Old Ho be in charge of getting the license plate of the city bureau. Bao Sonli said, it doesn't matter if there are occasional small violations. Aren't you looking for trouble for me? Mingyan's father is the acting director of the city bureau. Do you want to get the license plate of the city bureau for her to drive? Yang Ming was really a little dumbfounded. This car was originally bought with our private money. If people think that the car is for private use, aren't you smearing Uncle Chen's face? Ugh, Brother Yang, no. Bao Sanli sweated and quickly explained, our security company is an enterprise affiliated with the city bureau, so there is a special license plate number. Mingyan's A5 and Xiaolu's X5 are under the name of the security company, so there is no problem. We are not afraid of others checking. Yang Ming rolled his eyes and thought, of course, I am not afraid of others checking. But I am afraid that those who don't know will talk behind my back. Who knows what your special license plate number is? The beginning is the same, and ordinary people can't distinguish it. However, since Bao Sanli had already done this, Yang Ming had no choice but to say, then you give them a security company pass and put it in front of the windshield. It is obvious so that people can see that it is our own car at a glance. No problem. Bao Sanli quickly responded and scolded himself in his heart. Why didn't I think of the relationship between the two? It didn't matter if Jing Xiaolu drove it. Chen Mingyan's identity was there. It was hard to guarantee that some people who didn't know the truth would think that she was driving her father's car for private use. Yang Ming nodded and didn't blame Bao Sanli anymore. He may have done it out of kindness, but he didn't think so complicatedly. It was just that in some cases, it was necessary to think about all aspects, especially since Chen Fei's current position was very sensitive. It was hard to guarantee that people with bad intentions wouldn't association. Yang Ming now had the identity of the young master of Mingyang heavy industry, but after all, he and Chen Mengyan were not married yet. Even after the two were engaged, no matter how luxurious Chen Mengyan was, no one would say anything. After all, with the wealth of his own family, unless Chen Fei was crazy, he wouldn't do something like corruption, bribery, or private use. The second floor of the company was the restaurant. There was no elevator in the lobby on the first floor. The elevator would stop directly from the second floor to the underground parking lot, so to take the elevator, one must go up to the second floor first. Yang Ming and the others went upstairs and got on the elevator on the second floor. President Bao, you. Zhou Jiejia said this and thought about Yang Ming again. She felt that her tone was a bit inappropriate. She wanted to say, your company, but with her current relationship with Yang Ming, saying, your company, would be a bit of an outsider, so Zhou Jiejia hesitated and said, how many computers does our company have? This should be a few hundred. Bao Sanli thought about it and replied, Mingyang Entertainment has more than 300 employees. Some people have laptops. A conservative estimate should be about 400 computers. The specific number, the finance department has the fixed asset statistics, but I can't see it now. Bao Sanli was scolded by Yang Ming because he reported an approximate number last time. So this time, he was afraid that Yang Ming would scold him, so he specifically stated that the specific number would be checked by the finance department. However, this was not an urgent matter. Yang Ming did not pay attention to this. He waved his hand and said, Jiejia, there are so many computers. Isn't it? It is indeed a bit too many. Zhou Jiejia also smiled bitterly. If I check one by one, it will take a lot of time. I don't know if I can finish it in one night. Although I can write a targeted check program, I didn't prepare in advance. Xiaolu. Why don't you think about it? Is there anyone in the company who has a bad relationship with you? Yang Ming nodded and felt that the workload was too huge. Even if Zhou Jiejia didn't sleep at night, she might not be able to complete the check completely. Bad relationship? I don't think so. Jing Xiaolu frowned and began to think hard. After thinking for a while, she said, I don't offend anyone in the company. People are now rumored that I entered the company through connections. I have to be more careful. I can't discredit you. Xiaolu's reputation in the company is very good. Bao Sanli nodded in agreement. He was also afraid that Yang Ming would arrange a lady who would be difficult to serve. However, Jing Xiaolu was really conscientious. She didn't have the slightest sense of superiority. This was also an important reason why Bao Sanli wanted to promote her. Otherwise, if she really had the style of a lady, putting her in the position of the deputy general manager was simply asking for trouble. Therefore, Bao Sanli often learned about Jing Xiaolu's movements in the company. The news he got was also positive. It said that Jing Xiaolu was a very good person and was very popular among colleagues, so he said, "Brother Yang, Xiaolu is a very kind person. She usually doesn't offend people. I know this. She is also down to earth in her work." Compared to that person, ugh, Bao Sanli wanted to say that she was much better than her fifth cousin, but when the words came to his mouth, he felt that it was not very good, so he didn't say anything for a long time. Chapter 13-16. Compete on what? Yang Ming glanced at the stuttering Bao Sanli. If you have anything to say, just say it. It's your fifth cousin. Bao Sanli said with some embarrassment. Oh, him. Yang Ming didn't have a deep relationship with this fifth cousin. He hadn't even met him before, so he didn't have a good impression of him. He responded faintly, he is just here to waste time. Find a place for him to pass the time. Just don't care about him. Seeing that Yang Ming didn't have any feelings for this fifth cousin, Bao Sanli was relieved. He didn't need to give him face in the future. He just needed to arrange a job for him, and he didn't need to do anything. Ah! Jing Xiaolu suddenly screamed, which shocked Yang Ming, Bao Sanli, Zhou Jijia, and others. What's wrong with you? Why are you shouting? Yang Ming looked at Jing Xiaolu, baffled. Why are you shouting? Who are you trying to scare? I thought about it. If there is a contradiction, then it is that Wang Xiaoran. Jing Xiaolu hesitated and said affirmatively, when I got off work today, she came to me and mocked me. She asked me why my boyfriend didn't pick me up with a BMW. It was so annoying, BMW. Zhou Jijia was stunned. She looked at Jing Xiaolu strangely and looked at Yang Ming again. It seemed that the association had realized something, but she wasn't a girl who liked to stir up trouble. Even if she knew some things, she wouldn't simply say anything or discuss anything. I have driven Jing Xiaolu a few times. Maybe someone saw it and misunderstood. Yang Ming saw Zhou Jijia's doubts, so he explained, then there were some rumors. Oh, that's the case. Zhou Jijia nodded and didn't ask much. This Wang Xiaoran is suspicious, but based on this, we can't be sure that it is her. We need to focus on investigating later to know. I thought of it. Jing Xiaolu was reminded by Yang Ming and Zhou Jijia. She also thought of something and said, it's her. It must be her. Oh. How can you be so sure? Yang Ming looked at Jing Xiaolu's confident expression and asked with some doubt. Earlier, that Yu Qi, your fifth cousin. He's been courting me, but I've been ignoring him. But today, I suddenly found that he was with Wang Xiaoran. It should be after this incident. Could it be that Wang Xiaoran is behind this? Jing Xiaolu was a schemer, so she immediately knew the ins and outs of the matter with a little clue. If Wang Xiaoran likes Yu Qi, and Yu Qi doesn't like her but likes me, then she can smear my reputation and take the opportunity to make Yu Qi give up. Yang Ming listened to Jing Xiaolu's analysis and took a deep breath. This Jing Xiaolu is really amazing. With just a few words, she could speculate so many ins and outs. As she said, this possibility was still very high. This Wang Xiaoran was indeed a major suspect. Of course, it was not the first time that Yang Ming experienced Jing Xiaolu's prowess, so he didn't feel too strange. On the contrary, he felt very happy. Yang Ming was not the kind of person who disliked smart girls. Although he was somewhat male chauvinistic, the smarter the woman around him was, the more he could keep improving. What you said is also true. According to this Wang Xiaoran may harm you. Let's investigate from her machine. Otherwise, there is no target. Yang Ming now also felt that this Wang Xiaoran was suspicious. The elevator stopped and came to the floor where Jing Xiaolu's office was upstairs. This floor was where all the secretaries and assistants in the company worked. Wang Xiaoran was also one of the secretaries, so her desk was also here. It's that one. Jing Xiaolu pointed to a desk and said, "Jie, look." Zhou Jie glanced at Wang Xiaoran's computer. It was the most common type of association office computer. She turned on the computer and sat in Wang Xiaoran's office. Yang Ming, Jing Xiaolu, and Bao Sanli stood aside and didn't dare to disturb Zhou Jie's work. However, the configuration of Wang Xiaoran's computer was relatively low, so it took a while to enter the system. Taking advantage of this time, Zhou Jie took out her small netbook and glanced at Yang Ming. She hesitated and said, "Yang Ming, I want to check the MP community's IP address. Can you take everyone to leave first?" Yang Ming was slightly stunned and looked at Zhou Jie strangely. Checking the IP address is not a shameful thing. What is there to leave? Seeing Yang Ming's puzzled look, Zhou Jie blushed a little. She bit her lip and whispered, "Yang Ming." Although Yang Ming was puzzled, seeing Zhou Jie's appearance at the moment, he had to agree with her, so he said, "Okay, we will wait for you on the side." After that, Yang Ming said to Jing Xiaolu and Bao Sanli, "Let's go. Let's go over there and rest for a while. Let Jie be in charge of things here." The two thought that Zhou Jie had some secret technical means that were not good for outsiders to see, so they didn't think much about it. In their eyes, the profession of a hacker was mysterious, so they naturally went to the sofa with Yang Ming to rest. However, Yang Ming was still very puzzled, especially Zhou Jie's strange look just now. It seems that she deliberately wants to hide something. Is there anything that she wants to do that requires me to leave? Thinking of this, Yang Ming couldn't sit still. Zhou Jie never hid anything from me, but this time, what is going on? Yang Ming couldn't help it. He used his special ability to look at Zhou Jie. It turned out that Zhou Jie was logging into QQ. However, when Zhou Jie chose the QQ number, she did not choose the QQ number that she usually used. Instead, she chose another unfamiliar QQ number in the drop-down column of QQ. This was a 5-digit QQ number. It was the earliest number of QQ. Now, it could not be applied for. Zhou Jie could have such a number. It was more in line with her identity, and the number was very good. However, Yang Ming never knew that Zhou Jie had such a QQ number. Is there any secret in the QQ number that Zhou Jie is going to log and that she can't let me know? Thinking of this, Yang Ming suddenly became a little nervous. Although in the beginning, Yang Ming didn't have any feelings for Zhou Jie. He even hated her very much. However, as time passed, the two people had resolved the misunderstanding and became in a relationship. Therefore, Yang Ming still cared about Zhou Jie very much. Zhou Jie actually hid her identity, which made Yang Ming somewhat uncomfortable. Even if there was another identity, Yang Ming felt that there was nothing that Zhou Jie couldn't tell him. Now that Zhou Jie deliberately wanted him to leave, Yang Ming was even more uncomfortable. His eyes were fixed on Zhou Jie's computer screen. He watched as Zhou Jie pressed the login button. The little penguin in the lower right corner of the computer screen began to move. Logging in, do you want to drink water? Jing Xiaolu took a few glasses of pure water from the water dispenser and handed one of them to Yang Ming. Oh, thank you. Yang Ming absent-mindedly took the glass of water handed over by Jing Xiaolu and took a sip. His mind wasn't on this. His attention was all focused on the small notebook in Zhou Jiejia's hand. Finally, QQ was logged in. On Zhou Jiejia's computer screen, the QQ login interface also appeared, and this QQ nickname, Pooh. Yang Ming almost spat out the water in his mouth. He choked on it abruptly and choked it in Yang Ming's throat. It made Yang Ming cough. Yang Ming, what's wrong with you? Jing Xiaolu was shocked. She quickly patted Yang Ming's back with her hand. Why did you choke? Drink slowly. Are you okay? Yang Ming smiled bitterly and shook his head. He didn't expect that the result would be like this. Zhou Jiejia on the other side was also shocked by Yang Ming's cough. She looked at Yang Ming suspiciously. She didn't know what happened to Yang Ming suddenly. Yang Ming grinned at Zhou Jiejia and smiled, indicating that he was fine. Zhou Jiejia lowered her head again and opened a chat window with a netizen on QQ. I love Little Ming. Zhou Jiejia's QQ nickname is actually I love Little Ming. Yang Ming's shock when he saw this nickname was imaginable, so he almost choked on the water. Yang Ming was not unfamiliar with this name. When he went to school with Zhou Jiejia last time, he met the president of the Computer Association named Li Buliang. He seemed to have said at that time that the #1 hacker in China was called I Love Little Ming. However, Yang Ming didn't think much at that time. He just thought that this name was so unsophisticated. But now, he found that Zhou Jiejia was actually the #1 hacker in China. I love Little Ming. Yang Ming was shocked not because Zhou Jiejia was the #1 hacker in China, but because of her name. Originally, Yang Ming didn't know what this I love Little Ming meant. Now, even if he was stupid, he could understand the mind of this chick, Zhou Jiejia. My name is Yang Ming. This Little Ming. Yang Ming suddenly sweated. No wonder Zhou Jiejia didn't want to let me and Jing Xiaolu see it. This is indeed a bit shameful. No wonder Zhou Jiejia had that kind of shy expression just now. This online name should have been there a long time ago. Otherwise, it wouldn't be so famous. This could be seen from the number of digits in Zhou Jiejia's QQ number. This number had existed for a long time. It seems that Zhou Jiejia's mind has not changed for so many years. Yang Ming sighed. She is really an infatuated girl. In real life, she may not be able to express her thoughts, but in the virtual online world, she doesn't mind giving herself such a name so that everyone can know her thoughts. Perhaps she was afraid of being found out by others, so she didn't dare to write, I love Yang Ming, directly. So, she wrote, I love Little Ming, to prevent others from knowing her reality. Thinking that he was still angry with Zhou Jiejia for hiding something from him, Yang Ming suddenly felt a little ashamed. Zhou Jiejia didn't want to hide anything from him, but she was really embarrassed to let him see this nickname. Anyone would be very embarrassed. Although this girl bluntly admitted her own thoughts in many situations and dared to boldly say that she liked him, when they were really together, she began to become shy and gradually revealed a girl's reserved and shy nature. It could be seen that the person Zhou Jiejia was chatting with admired Zhou Jiejia, but he obviously didn't know Zhou Jiejia's gender. Instead, he called Zhou Jiejia brother Little Ming, and Zhou Jiejia didn't deny it. This person should be the administrator of the MP community. Zhou Jiejia asked him about the IP address of the post and instructed him to block the post. The person answered Zhou Jiejia's question happily and agreed. Obviously, he was very happy to serve Zhou Jiejia, a supermaster. Zhou Jiejia thanked him and turned off the laptop. Apparently, she didn't want Yang Ming to see her QQ name. Logically speaking, there was nothing to keep secret about what she was doing. The only thing she wanted to keep secret was her QQ nickname. Glancing at Wang Sharon's computer next to her, it was already the login interface. It was just that the computer had a boot password, but Zhou Jijia easily solved it. She entered the system and began to check the data inside. Zhou Jijia first checked the company's IP address and then said to Yang Ming, the IP address of the post is the same as the company's IP address. It can be determined that this post was sent from inside the company. Now, I will check this computer. And, you check it. Yang Ming nodded absent-mindedly. He was still thinking about what he had just seen. He didn't know how to tell Zhou Jijia about this matter. If he said it directly, she would definitely be embarrassed. However, he couldn't always pretend that he didn't know. This matter could only be discussed later. Yang Ming first gave up the idea of asking Zhou Jijia directly. Although he was curious about how Zhou Jijia became the most powerful existence in China's hacker world, a girl could actually become a legend in the hacker world. This was more or less shocking, especially when this person was the person who slept with him. Yang Ming used to know that Zhou Jijia's computer was very powerful, but he didn't expect that she would be so powerful. It was incredible and even outrageous. Yang Ming sighed. It seems that Zhou Jijia is also a powerful character. Why are there so many talents around me? Yes, in the system's temporary file, there is a record of the post. I can be sure that the post was sent from this computer. Zhou Jijia checked for a while and said directly with certainty. Really? You are sure? Jing Xiaolu stood up happily and ran to Zhou Jijia quickly. Sister Jijia, you are really powerful. It's nothing. Since there is a confirmed target, it is naturally easy to check. Zhou Jijia smiled and said with some embarrassment. That is also very powerful. If it were me, I wouldn't be able to find it. I can only rely on guessing. After Jing Xiaolu finished speaking, she was a little annoyed. This Wang Xiaoran, it is really her fault. I knew that this woman is not a good person. I didn't find trouble with her, but she came to find trouble with me. Jing Xiaolu was already very elegant, but she couldn't help but swear. Yang Ming was a little amused. The word "I" had not appeared in Jing Xiaolu's mouth for a long time. Today, she finally couldn't help but say it once. Brother Yang, how should we deal with this matter? Bao Sanli saw that the person who posted the post had been found, so he asked quickly. How do you want to deal with it? Yang Ming frowned and asked, You are the general manager of the company. You should deal with it as you should. Why are you asking me? According to the company's regulations, this kind of thing can be punished or even fired depending on the seriousness of the matter. Bao Sanli said, however, the impact of this matter is very big. I think we should fire this employee. And, you can decide. Yang Ming nodded and agreed with Bao Sanli's point of view. Originally, Yang Ming wanted to call the police. Although it might not be a big crime, she couldn't escape from detention for spreading rumors and slander. However, since this Wang Xiaoran and Yu Qi were together, Yang Ming would give them face and fire her. He would not pursue further. Tomorrow morning, I will fire her. Bao Sanli saw that Yang Ming agreed, and he was relieved. Hold a staff meeting tomorrow morning to emphasize work discipline. I will also sit in. The meeting will be presided over by you and Ho Jinhan, said Yang Ming. Okay, Brother Yang, I will arrange it immediately. I will call old Ho now. Bao Sanli nodded. Jing Xiaolu was a little angry. Firing her is really too easy for her. If it were in the past, I would have beaten her head. Yang Ming was annoyed and amused at Jing Xiaolu. Don't mess around. Where do you think this is? A place where little punks gather. This is a legitimate company. How old are you? You are still so naive. I'm just saying. Jing Xiaolu stuck out her tongue. I have to fight for a leadership position in the future. Of course, I'm just saying it casually. Jia, print out the evidence. Everything must be based on evidence. If there is no evidence, it will be a little troublesome if Wang Xiaoran doesn't admit it. It will take a lot of effort. Yang Ming suddenly thought of this, so he said quickly. Okay, I will do this now. Zhou Jia began to print the evidence. Yang Ming said to Bao Sanli, okay, I will go back first. You and Big Ho meet to discuss tomorrow's meeting. I won't go. I will go back and practice with Zhiyun for a while. No problem, Brother Yang. Bao Sanli nodded. Don't worry. Leave it to me. Right, what about the car key? Yang Ming smiled and waved to Jing Xiaolu on the side. Xiaolu, your car key. You will have a car to drive tomorrow. Ah. Mine. Jing Xiaolu took the car key from Bao Sanli's hand in surprise. She looked at the BMW logo on the car key and shouted excitedly, Yang Ming. Jing Xiaolu just wanted to say, Yang Ming, I love you. But she suddenly remembered that Zhou Jia was on the side. She quickly shut her mouth and didn't dare to kiss Yang Ming again. She just couldn't help but jump up and down happily. Chapter 13-17. Yang Ming looked at Jing Xiaolu's appearance and was shocked. Fortunately, this chick had self-awareness. Otherwise, some things couldn't be cleared up because of her. Although Zhou Jia wasn't the kind of person who was jealous, she wouldn't gossip. She had suffered a similar loss when she was young and insensible. Naturally, it was impossible to make the same mistake a second time. But even so, Xiao Qing's incident had just happened. If Jing Xiaolu's incident happened again, it was hard to guarantee that Zhou Jia wouldn't have any opinions about him. Moreover, the most important thing was that if there was really something between him and Jing Xiaolu, then Yang Ming would accept it. The key problem was that there was nothing between him and Jing Xiaolu. They didn't even hold hands. The most intimate contact was nothing more than being kissed by Jing Xiaolu a few times. This didn't mean anything. If one had to say what kind of unusual relationship there was between the two of them, it would at most be a little more ambiguous than an ordinary friendship. Therefore, Yang Ming was unwilling to be the scapegoat, at least not now. Fortunately, Jing Xiaolu didn't do anything to embarrass both of them. Yang Ming also secretly praised Jing Xiaolu's cleverness. He just glared at her and whispered, "Don't be crazy. Be a little more steady." Hee. Jing Xiaolu was really happy. She couldn't close her mouth. She held the key and looked at it. Zhou Jia glanced at her and didn't say anything because the key was given by Yang Ming. It was probably given to Jing Xiaolu by the company. Perhaps it had something to do with Yang Ming, but Zhou Jia didn't think much about it. All the evidence in Wang Xiaoran's computer was printed out and stored in the portable hard drive for backup. Then, she said to Yang Ming, it's all done. These evidences are impeccable. As long as it is a forensic expert in computer science, they can admit the validity of these evidences. I'm not afraid that Wang Xiaoran won't admit it. That's good. Yang Ming breathed a sigh of relief. What he was most afraid of was that there was no absolute evidence. If Wang Xiaoran didn't admit this matter, then Bao Sanli could forcibly fire her. After all, Bao Sanli had the final say in the company. He was the general manager. If he wanted to fire someone, he didn't need any reason. However, this wouldn't convince the public. If there was no conclusive evidence, it would make others suspicious. At this time, if Wang Xiaoran once again displayed her ability to create rumors and make trouble, she would publicize this firing incident as a big injustice case. As a result, the people in the company would be unstable, and everyone would be in danger. Everyone wondered if it would be their turn in the future if they could fire an employee just because they wanted to incriminate him. Once people's hearts were unstable, it was bound to affect work efficiency. A company's performance would also decline. This was not what Yang Ming wanted to see. However, now with Zhou Jiejia's words, Yang Ming was relieved. Bao Sanli on the side was also relieved. The evidence provided by Zhou Jiejia was also legally recognized, so there was no need to worry about Wang Xiaoran's refutation. Zhou Jiejia handed the evidence in her hand to Bao Sanli. Bao Sanli carefully put these things in the document bag he carried with him. Then, he said to Zhou Jiejia, "Thank you, Miss Zhou. You have helped me a lot." Although the person was invited by Yang Ming, and the company was also Yang Ming's, Bao Sanli was the manager here after all. If Yang Ming didn't help him, he had to find a way to solve it himself. In this way, Yang Ming had helped him a lot. How could Bao Sanli not be grateful? "It's nothing. This is what I should do." Zhou Jiejia smiled shyly. "I have always been afraid that I couldn't help Yang Ming. Now that I finally have the opportunity to appear, I have to cherish it." After Yang Ming listened to Zhou Jiejia's words, he smiled awkwardly. He didn't expect Zhou Jiejia to have this thought. However, when he thought about it carefully, weren't others the same? Lin Jiyun, Chen Mengyan, and others, they all hoped to be able to help him in his future career, so they kept working hard to learn. Now, Zhou Jiejia was the same. Looking at Jing Xiaolu again, wasn't her change also for him? Thinking of this, Yang Ming sighed. Some things had to be faced in the end, just like Jing Xiaolu. On the other side, when Jing Xiaolu heard Zhou Jiejia's words, she was also thinking about herself. Zhou Jiejia's achievements in computer science were something that Jing Xiaolu couldn't catch up with in a lifetime. She knew nothing about computer science. Except for simple applications and operations, surfing the internet, chatting, and printing some documents, she couldn't do anything else. However, I also have something that Zhou Jiejia can't catch up with, right? Jing Xiaolu worked in the company for a period of time. She also found that she had a talent for leadership. What did a company's leader need to do? In terms of strategy, Jing Xiaolu thought that she didn't lose to others, especially adapted to the intrigue of the business world. But in terms of using people, she was a little lacking. But it didn't matter. She could learn. Her current position was not to the point of using people. She was just a manager's assistant, which was the role of helping to make plans. When she really became a manager, it wouldn't be too late to learn how to use people. Therefore, Jing Xiaolu felt that she wasn't worse than Zhou Jiejia. She was also competent in other aspects, and she could also help Yang Ming. Thinking of this, Jing Xiaolu felt that she should work harder in the future. After returning to the dormitory, she would download a few books on how to use people. "Brother Bao, I will come to the meeting tomorrow. We will go first. You can arrange the rest of the things." Yang Ming looked at the time. It was already 8:00 in the evening. Chen Mengyan should have finished her class. He had to rush home. "Don't worry, Brother Yang. I will arrange it properly." Bao Sanli naturally promised. Yang Ming thought that there was nothing else, so he held Zhou Jiejia's hand and went downstairs with Jing Xiaolu. Originally, Zhou Jiejia was a little embarrassed. After all, Jing Xiaolu was watching by the side. She struggled a few times and couldn't break free, so she let Yang Ming hold her hand. However, Jing Xiaolu saw Zhou Jiejia's embarrassment. She walked from Yang Ming's side to Zhou Jiejia's side and held Zhou Jiejia's other hand from the other side. In this way, Zhou Jiejia was held by the two people, and the awkwardness disappeared. Looking at Jing Xiaolu, who was very friendly to her and even said that she was trying to please her, Zhou Jie secretly speculated in her heart. Jing Xiaolu, I met her by chance in the school cafeteria. The process could be said to be quite accidental and coincidental. At the time, it seemed that there was no premeditated element, but now it seemed that Jing Xiaolu's attitude to me was a bit too good. Could it be that Jing Xiaolu has a premeditated plan? Recalling the previous contact with Jing Xiaolu's attitude to me, Chen Mengyan, and Lin Jiyun. Zhou Jie was suddenly stunned. Yes, the current Jing Xiaolu is very similar to me in the past. In the past, didn't I also want to try my best to please the people around Yangming? Moreover, when there was nothing to do, I always liked to be with Yangming. Even if there was no reason and opportunity, I would create reasons and opportunities. How similar is it to the current Jing Xiaolu? Looking at the tone and attitude of Jing Xiaolu and Yangming just now, although Jing Xiaolu was already very careful, fearing that Zhou Jie would notice something, Zhou Jie was an experienced person. She had also been Jing Xiaolu's current role once. How could she not notice it? Therefore, even if Jing Xiaolu deliberately concealed and disguised herself, Zhou Jie still saw some clues and some suspicious signs. However, after I saw it, would I be on guard against Jing Xiaolu? Zhou Jie shook her head secretly. No, she would not have any prejudice or dissatisfaction with Jing Xiaolu. She would not deliberately say anything. On the contrary, when she saw the current Jing Xiaolu, she would miss her previous self. How difficult was that period of time? But now that she thought about it, it was very beautiful and sweet. Love that was full of twists and turns and bumpy, compared to the kind of love that was natural and logical, was more worth reminiscing about. This would accompany her for a lifetime. This was a memorial of her youth. Unconsciously, she held Jing Xiaolu's hand tightly. Jing Xiaolu was slightly surprised, but she let Zhou Jie hold her hand until they got out of the elevator. Holding hands and growing old together. Now, I'm holding both Yangming and Jing Xiaolu's hands. Does this include Jing Xiaolu? Zhou Jie secretly glanced at Jing Xiaolu, and there was a slight smile between her eyebrows. This girl can get along well with me. At least, there will be no conflict. This is enough. Jing Xiaolu did not expect Zhou Jie to think so much in an instant. She held the car key and was eager to try it. When she went downstairs, she subconsciously wanted to remotely control Yangming's car. However, when she saw that Yangming's car did not respond, she remembered that she had not gotten the set of keys for the car yet. Looking at Jing Xiaolu holding the new key and remotely controlling his car, Yangming was a little dumbfounded. The key is here. Let's go back to the university first. As Yangming spoke, he threw his car key to Jing Xiaolu. Jing Xiaolu went to the driver's seat excitedly. Yangming and Zhou Jie still sat in the back row of the car. Jing Xiaolu started the car and drove in the direction of the university. Zhou Jie was first sent to the lobby of the School of Computer Science. Yangming did not say much. He just pulled her hand. Take care of your body. Don't be too tired. Zhou Jie nodded and smiled slightly. She opened the door and got out of the car. After watching Zhou Jie enter the building of the School of Computer Science, Yangming returned to the car. When he saw that Jing Xiaolu did not drive, he asked curiously, "Why don't you drive? Why don't you sit in the front?" Jing Xiaolu asked. "It's such a short road. Do I still need to sit in the front? Is there a problem?" Yangming looked at Jing Xiaolu with a bitter smile. "It's not that bad, right? Come on." Zhou Jie left, and Jing Xiaolu suddenly became bold. She hooked her finger at Yangming. "I miss you." Yangming had no choice. He couldn't persuade Jing Xiaolu, so he had to get out of the car and sit in the front passenger seat. Jing Xiaolu started the car, and the car slowly drove forward. In the university, there was a speed limit. Even if Jing Xiaolu deliberately drove slowly, Yang Ming couldn't do anything about it. Tomorrow, you will have your own car. Yang Ming thought about it and said, this guy, Bao Sanli, always makes some useless things. He left the car license plate with the security company. It is the special number of the city bureau, but you don't violate the rules. You should be low-key. Really? Jing Xiaolu listened to Yang Ming's words and was a little happy, but she nodded again and again. I know. Don't worry. I have been very low-key recently. Although Jing Xiaolu drove slowly, the school's School of Computer Science was not far from the female dormitory. It was only a 10-minute walk, let alone driving. Jing Xiaolu got out of the car reluctantly and waved to Yang Ming in the car. Then, I'm leaving. Let's go. Yang Ming said helplessly, do you still expect me to give you a hug? Jing Xiaolu closed the door with a smile. Yang Ming wanted to get out from the front passenger seat and change to Jing Xiaolu's seat. But before he got out of the car, he heard Jing Xiaolu scream. He looked up and saw two macho men blocking Jing Xiaolu's way. Jing Xiaolu, I finally found you. Motherfucker, you are quite rich, aren't you? You even drive a BMW. Which rich guy did you cheat this from? One of the macho men in a black t-shirt stared at Jing Xiaolu with a sneer. It was now night. Yang Ming's car was covered with a film, so the two macho men thought that Jing Xiaolu drove back alone. There was no one else in the car, so they spoke a little unscrupulously. They were not afraid that someone would see it. Yang Ming frowned slightly. What happened to Jing Xiaolu? Why did she just get hurt by Wang Xiaoran during the day, and then she encountered two hooligans at night? It seemed that the person who spoke knew Jing Xiaolu. Otherwise, he would not be able to call out her name. Ugh. It's Brother Fei. What are you looking for me for? Jing Xiaolu subconsciously moved back and looked at the macho man in front of her vigilantly. Hey. You still know me. Brother Fei snorted. Damn, what about the previous incident? I ate Viagra and went to take a shower. After I came out, I found that you ran away. You made me sleep the whole night. That place couldn't even call for a chicken. Damn, you took my money, and you didn't do anything. Are you cheating me? Brother Fei, don't talk nonsense with this chick. What you owed last time, you just need to make up for it this time. The macho man next to Brother Fei was a fair-weather friend of Brother Fei. Originally, Brother Fei called him to help cheer, so he didn't take it seriously. However, when he saw Jing Xiaolu's appearance and figure, his heart began to move, and he was a little impatient. Come with us. I don't like to use force, but I don't mind making an exception. If he didn't have a deep impression of Jing Xiaolu and hate her to the bone, he would have done his homework before coming to surround Jing Xiaolu. He inquired about Jing Xiaolu's current outfit, and he couldn't even connect the pure little girl in front of him with the previous delinquent girl. However, the current Jing Xiaolu was more charming, and she could arouse Brother Fei's desire more. Jing Xiaolu was secretly angry. This Yang Ming saw that I was being bullied. Why didn't he come out to save me? Seriously, don't tell me he drove away already. But I didn't hear the sound of the car engine, right? Yang Ming naturally would not stand by, but he didn't move because he wanted to figure out the ins and outs of the matter. He wanted to see why these two people were looking for Jing Xiaolu. From the words of these two people, Yang Ming could already tell that they knew Jing Xiaolu, so this was not an emergency, but premeditated. Therefore, Yang Ming was not in a hurry to get out of the car. These two people would definitely say something. Sure enough, Yang Ming learned the ins and outs of the matter from these two people. He couldn't help but find it funny. This person called Brother Fei must have been deceived by Jing Xiaolu. Jing Xiaolu promised him to get a room, but she took the money and ran away halfway, leaving Brother Fei alone in the hotel. This kind of thing, of course, the previous Jing Xiaolu would do it. However, Yang Ming did not have any bad thoughts about Jing Xiaolu because of this. He understood Jing Xiaolu's past and knew her difficulties. The money she cheated was rarely spent on herself. All of it was used to buy medicine for her grandmother. Therefore, regardless of whether Jing Xiaolu's behavior was recognized or not, her filial piety was commendable. Therefore, as far as Yang Ming himself was concerned, he didn't have any bad feelings about Jing Xiaolu's approach. She was a girl who forced herself to this extent in order to buy medicine for her grandmother. She could still maintain her chastity. It was just cheating some money. It was not a big deal. Of course, from a legal point of view, Jing Xiaolu's approach was wrong, but the law was nothing more than human feelings. Some things were understandable. How much did she take from you? I will return it to you. Yang Ming opened the door and got out of the car. He walked quickly to Jing Xiaolu's side and looked at Brother Fei and another macho man's helper opposite her. Who are you? Brother Fei was obviously stunned by the appearance of Yang Ming. He didn't expect that there was another person sitting in Jing Xiaolu's BMW. You don't need to know who I am. Yang Ming didn't want to waste time. How much did she take from you? I will give you double. Yo. Double? Looking at your tone, you are quite rich, right? Brother Fei glanced at Yang Ming and saw that he was only one person. He had an idea in his heart. I have two people on my side. What can he do to me? So, he mocked with some contempt, I didn't expect that Jing Xiaolu would hook up with a dumb rich guy. It seems that he is a sucker. Yang Ming looked at Brother Fei coldly, but he was not angry. Say it. How much? Fuck, you really think you are something? Brother Fei snorted disdainfully. I want 1 million. Can you give it to me? Okay, then I will give you 1 million. Yang Ming said faintly, do you want cash or check? Who are you bluffing? Cash or check? Do you think I have never seen money before? Do you know who I am? Brother Fei glanced at Yang Ming again. Yang Ming looked carefully and realized that this guy didn't look at him intentionally, but he was already squinting. Then, may I ask who you are? Yang Ming looked at Brother Fei and asked calmly. Chapter 13:18. You tell him who I am. Brother Fei felt that it was a bit embarrassing to say who he was, so he glanced at the helper he found. This helper was a follower of Brother Fei. He usually did this kind of thing. His name was Li Zhan. He met Brother Fei, Lu Jifei, at the table. He saw that Lu Jifei was very rich and his family was very powerful, so he volunteered to be a follower. When the villain appeared, there would often be a follower to introduce the identity of this big bully. Just like in ancient times, when a big gentleman was flirting with women, when a busybody appeared, the big gentleman would always shout, "Do you know who I am?" Obviously, this busybody didn't know who he was. Therefore, it was not convenient for this big gentleman to say who he was. That would make him lose face. At this time, the big gentleman's sidekick came in handy. He would stand up and say, "Who is this? Who is this? Who is this? Can you afford to offend? If you don't want to die, get out of here." Wait. Li Zhan jumped out, pointed at Lu Jifei, and shouted at Yang Ming, "This is the Lu family's young master, Lu Jifei. Let me tell you. If you don't want to get into trouble, don't get involved in this. This is a personal grievance between our young master Lu and Jing Xiaolu. It has nothing to do with you." Yang Ming was slightly stunned. He didn't know where the Lu family's young master came from, but this momentum was quite scary. However, when was Yang Ming afraid of anyone? Of course, Yang Ming wasn't an impulsive person. He wouldn't think that the heavens were the boss and the earth was second to him. This Lu family wasn't a friend yet, and before he did a thorough investigation, Yang Ming wouldn't be stupid enough to rashly make an enemy. However, the situation in front of him was an exception. Yang Ming was no longer the young boy of the past. His growth in the past year had made deep progress in both his grasp of things and his observation of people. He had also learned to observe people's expressions. When Li Zhan introduced Lu Jifei, he was obviously hesitant. When he asked who Lu Jifei was in the Lu family, he paused a little before saying that he was the Lu family's young master. There was a lot to be learned here. If Lu Jifei's identity was really badass and he was the Lu family's young master, he could say that Lu Jifei was the Lu family's young master instead of the young master. Yang Ming did not think that people like them would be low-key. If they really knew how to be low-key, they would not be like this. Therefore, the only possibility was that this Lu Jifei's status in the Lu family was relatively low, or it was more taboo. It was usually not easy to mention, but now in front of Yang Ming, Li Zhan had to say this in order to give Yang Ming a shock. In other words, even if this Lu Jifei was the Lu family's young master, he was an insignificant character. Lu Jifei planned to ask someone to investigate Yang Ming's identity tomorrow before making a decision. Today's situation was not suitable to stay for long. Watch your words. Yang Ming glanced at Lu Jifei coldly. How much does she owe you? I will give it to you. Money, I don't want it. Lu Jifei looked at Yang Ming with some resentment. He didn't come today for money, but to get Jing Xiaolu into bed. A few thousand yuan was a piece of cake for him. Since you must stand up for this bitch today, then I will give you face today. However, this matter is not over. Let's wait and see, Pa. Before Lu Jifei finished speaking, his face was slapped heavily by Yang Ming. Lu Jifei was stunned. He looked at Yang Ming incredulously. I haven't made a move yet, but he made a move first. You dare to hit me. Lu Jifei didn't expect Yang Ming to hit him. Lu Jifei was still thinking that he should thank the gods if he didn't find trouble with Yang Ming now. However, this Yang Ming was even more arrogant than him. Although Lu Jifei's status in the family was very low, even insignificant, he was very badass outside. Few people dared to do anything to him. When Yang Ming hit him, of course, he was unwilling. He was angry on the spot. I told you. Watch your words. Yang Ming grabbed Lu Jifei's waving arm and made him unable to move like a clamp. Jing Xiaolu is my girlfriend. If you say similar words in the future, I will tear your mouth. Lu Jifei was not a fool. He moved his arm and found that he couldn't move at all, so he withered. He knew that even with Li Zhan, they might not be Yang Ming's opponent. Although the two people's bodies were more intimidating, they were all muscles. Their bodies had long been worn down by alcohol and women. They were all fat and did not have combat power at all. Just as Lu Jifei was about to scold Yang Ming for letting go, Yang Ming suddenly let go of his hand and made Lu Jifei stumble. Lu Jifei looked at Yang Ming resentfully. He was afraid of being beaten, but he didn't dare to leave any harsh words. He ran away with Li Zhan resentfully. Jing Xiaolu had no awareness of fear. Instead, her eyes were full of light like a little fox. Yang Ming, is what you said just now true? What, true or false? Yang Ming frowned. Look at the trouble you have caused. There are many like this, right? They will come to you in the future. What should you do? Don't you help me solve it? Jing Xiaolu said indifferently. Me? Do you think I am by your side every day? Yang Ming said angrily, these people are unscrupulous in doing things. If they really take you to a place where there is no one, you can think of the consequences yourself. Aren't you my boyfriend? Do you have an obligation to protect me? Jing Xiaolu blinked and still didn't care. You know the situation just now. If you take this matter seriously again, don't blame me for turning around and leaving. Yang Ming poked her little head with his finger. I want to stand up for you. There must be a reason, right? Jing Xiaolu giggled. Okay, but even if it's just a joke, I'm still very happy. Good night. Come and pick me up tomorrow morning. After that, Jing Xiaolu turned and walked toward the dormitory building. Yang Ming was very angry, but he couldn't do anything. Jing Xiaolu asked him to pick her up tomorrow morning. She said it ambiguously like an order between lovers. Yang Ming couldn't refuse. Tomorrow morning, he had to go to the company for a meeting. Yang Ming naturally had to pick up Jing Xiaolu, but her words changed the meaning. Upstairs, Jing Xiaolu proudly patted the two magical weapons in her backpack, a high-voltage electric baton and an anti-pervert spray. She thought, do you think I am a fool? If I don't have any means of self-defense, how can I dare to roam the underworld? Today, I deliberately gave you a chance to appear and let you be the hero to save the beauty. Otherwise, without you, I would have been raped 100 times. Yang Ming didn't expect that Jing Xiaolu would have these thoughts. He got in the car, started the car, and drove in the direction of the school gate. On the way, Yang Ming saw Lu Jifei and Li Zhan hiding in the darkness. The two people were hiding behind the transformer box. Yang Ming ignored them and drove the car directly. Damn, is this license plate real or fake? Li Zhan pointed at the tail of the BMW and exclaimed in disbelief. Just now, the BMW was parked sideways, so they didn't pay attention to the license plate. This time, they saw it clearly. Of course, they were very surprised. Lu Jifei also frowned. Check it and see what his background is. Snatching my woman is simply courting death. Li Zhan could naturally see that Lu Jifei was strong on the outside but weak on the inside, but he was not worried. Although Lu Jifei was a branch of the Lu family, the illegitimate child, he was also recognized by the Lu family a few years ago. He was also considered a child of the family. Although he was not valued by the family, the only advantage of being a child of the family was that although he was nothing in the family, when he was bullied outside, the family would definitely not ignore it. After all, this involved the family's face. They would definitely send someone to get back their face. Otherwise, they would not be able to mingle in the upper class in the future. Therefore, Lu Jifei was usually arrogant and domineering, and he was not afraid that someone would do anything to him. However, Lu Jifei was not stupid. He just felt that he was not Yang Ming's opponent, so he planned to endure first before making a decision. Now that he saw Yang Ming's car, he felt that his plan had to be more careful. He had to check out Yang Ming's background first. After all, he didn't know which force Yang Ming was from. If he was from the other three major families, then Lu Jifei could only suffer in silence if he provoked them. Maybe he would be forced by the family to apologize. Lu Jifei would not do such a stupid thing. Of course, if he was not from the other three major families, Lu Jifei would not care. No matter how powerful he was in the local area, the Lu family could destroy him. Lu Jifei was not afraid of provoking any trouble. Yang Ming still didn't know that this Lu Jifei had a big background, so he didn't take him seriously. When he returned home, Chen Mengyan had already returned from class. She was eating with Lin Jiyun in the dining room. Seeing Yang Ming come in, Chen Mengyan looked up and asked, Yang Ming, you're back. Have you eaten? Sister Lin and I just ate. Not yet. I'll eat with you. Yang Ming nodded. Obviously, Lin Jiyun didn't eat just now. She was waiting for Chen Mengyan to come back so that they could eat together. From the time, Chen Mengyan had just finished school, so they should have just started eating. This could be seen from the food on the table. They didn't eat much. Lin Jiyun got up and took a bowl and chopsticks for Yang Ming. Yang Ming washed his hands and changed into pajamas. He had dinner with Chen Mengyan and Lin Jiyun. The food is not very delicious. Chen Mengyan complained while eating, "It's too greasy. It's not good for the skin." Yang Ming nodded. Now, many small restaurants' dishes were very greasy, but this couldn't be helped. After all, this was just a small community. It was impossible to have a particularly large restaurant here. Then make some yourself. Right, didn't Auntie Lee say when she will come back? Yang Ming asked the nanny at home. She was responsible for taking care of Zhou Jiejia's life in the hospital. After Zhou Jiejia recovered, Yang Ming let her work at home. However, a while ago, something happened at Auntie Lee's home, so she went back to her hometown. At that time, Yang Ming was in Africa. He only knew about it after he came back. A few days ago, she called and said that the matter had not been dealt with, so she couldn't come back for a while. Chen Mengyan shook her head. It was nothing. During that time, I cooked with Sister Lin and Jiejia every day. Even if one of the three of us had a class at night, the other two could cook together. It was very rare for 2 or 3 people to have a class at the same time. However, after Jiejia went to the research group, Sister Lin and I often didn't have a class together, so I didn't like to cook alone. It's okay. Am I not back? After the art festival is done, I will cook with you every day. Yang Ming said with a smile. This is what you said. Don't regret it when the time comes. Chen Mengyan was happy and immediately said, but you are busy every day now. I don't know what will happen when the time comes. I can't count on you. Yang Ming was a little embarrassed, but he couldn't help it. Indeed, he was too busy during this time. I'm sorry, it's okay. You are busy with business. How can I be such an unreasonable person? Chen Mengyan glanced at Yang Ming and then asked casually, right, do you have a woman outside? Why don't you let her come and live with us? You don't have to. Yang Ming didn't put up his guard, so he almost spilled the beans. He was so shocked that he broke out in a cold sweat. Chen Mengyan wasn't so easy to talk to. Looking at her indifferent look, it was hard to say that she wasn't testing him. Yang Ming was shocked. Chen Mengyan was just casually saying it, but when she saw Yang Ming's nervous look, her heart tightened. Did she provoke someone outside? She said with some jealousy, really? Lan Ling will come back soon. Half a year has passed. If her progress is smooth, she can come back early. Yang Ming quickly explained. Oh, it's Lan Ling. Chen Mengyan now had no strong hostility to Lan Ling. Perhaps it was because she had thought it through, or perhaps it was because she had grown up, or perhaps it was because she loved Yang Ming too much. Perhaps it was because of Lin Jiyun and Zhou Jiejia's matter, so she was numb to Lan Ling. It was a bit extreme to go to a dead end, but now, with the addition of Lin Jiyun and Zhou Jiejia in her life, it didn't cause any confusion and impact. Instead, it added a lot of joy. When Yang Ming wasn't around, didn't the three of them spend time together? So even if Lan Ling came back, as long as she wasn't too difficult to get along with, it was fine. As long as she thought this through, Chen Mengyan didn't have the previous grudge. Sooner or later, she had to admit the truth. So what if it was earlier or later? Then, welcome. Chen Mengyan smiled. I have long wanted to see her. Seeing that Chen Mengyan looked normal, Yang Ming was a bit puzzled. When did she become so generous? However, recalling Chen Mingyan's actions in the past 6 months, Yang Ming knew that she had really changed. She couldn't change Yang Ming, and she couldn't change some facts. Only by changing herself could she continue to be with Yang Ming. Thinking of this, Yang Ming couldn't help but be moved. "You're not angry. Am I so stingy?" Chen Mingyan glared at Yang Ming and quietly pointed to Lin Jiyun. The meaning was obvious. She tried to avoid some of the words she said before in front of Lin Jiyun to prevent Lin Jiyun from feeling uncomfortable after hearing it. Seeing that Chen Mingyan was so considerate, Yang Ming sighed softly. He felt that if he didn't treat her well in the future, he would really be struck by lightning. Chapter 13-19. Lin Jiyun had replaced the convenient chopsticks with a throwing knife and threw it at a target not far away. Although her accuracy was much worse, her hand strength was a lot more stable. Yang Ming could see that she must have worked hard. When he left home, she should have been practicing tirelessly until Chen Mingyan came home. "No, it's already very good that I can throw it on the target, let alone throw it on the bullseye. In most cases, I miss." After dinner, Lin Jiyun, Chen Mingyan, and Yang Ming went to the garage behind the villa to practice throwing targets. Lin Jiyun threw 2 targets and shook her head with some guilt. The garage was very big. Chen Mingyan's car hadn't come back yet. Even if she came back, there would be a lot of empty space. Lin Jiyun was afraid that throwing knives at home would accidentally damage the furniture and floor. After all, throwing knives were different from convenient chopsticks. Chopsticks were made of wood and were very light. Even if it brushed against the furniture and fell on the floor, it wouldn't cause any damage. But throwing knives were different. Throwing knives were very sharp. Whether it hit the furniture or the floor, it would always cause a certain amount of damage, leaving a scratch or a pit. It doesn't matter. You just have to throw it. Yang Ming smiled and comforted her. "As long as you throw the knife, I can cater to the direction of your throwing knife and let it fall accurately on the apple on my head." "But that's too dangerous." Lin Jiyun was shocked. "Yesterday, didn't you also test it with convenient chopsticks? Wasn't it fine?" Yang Ming waved his hand indifferently. "So, it's the same. Convenient chopsticks are convenient chopsticks. There's no lethality. Throwing knives are different. If it fails..." Lin Jiyun didn't dare to think about it. "How can it fail? The control is on my side. If I have the confidence, I will face it. If I don't, can I force myself to do it? I'm not stupid." Yang Ming smiled and said, "Do you think I'm so great? Will I sacrifice for art? It's just a campus art festival. So what if we screw it up?" "But..." "I still don't dare." Lin Jiyun didn't have any psychological barriers when she threw a knife at the target. However, throwing a knife at Yang Ming was completely different. It was impossible to mix them up. "How about this? Mingyan, as her older sister, you should set an example for her." Yang Ming looked at Chen Mingyan. "Me?" Chen Mingyan did not dare to use a flying knife. She immediately waved her hand and said, "Are you kidding me? I'm not as good as little sister Lin. She even practiced for a while. I haven't even practiced before. I don't want to hurt you. It's fine." Yang Ming couldn't help but put a flying knife in Chen Mingyan's hand. Then, he said to her, "Jiyun is timid. If you don't set an example for her, how can you be her older sister? That's not the right way." Chen Mingyan lowered her eyes. She had no choice but to take the flying knife from Yang Ming's hand. She weighed it with her hand and said, "Then, you should be careful." In fact, Chen Mingyan had played with flying knives before. Chen Fei was transferred from the army. When Chen Mingyan was young, Chen Fei had not transferred yet. He often took Chen Mengyan to target practice. However, because of limited ammunition, they couldn't use it casually. Therefore, they would also play with things like flying knives. However, that was a long time ago. Chen Mengyan didn't know if she still had the accuracy of her childhood. Holding the flying knife in her hand, she felt that it felt good. Chen Mengyan was relieved. At least, she could still find some of the previous feeling. In fact, whether it was flying knives or shooting, the feeling was very important. If she couldn't find the feeling, she didn't need to worry about accuracy. Chen Mengyan took a breath and threw the flying knife out. The target was, of course, not Yang Ming, but the wooden target not far away. Unfortunately, the flying knife missed the target and didn't hit the target. Sister Mengyan, are you really good? Lin Jiyun looked at Chen Mengyan with some surprise. You threw it for the first time, and you are much better than me. You just grazed the target. I didn't even touch the edge of the target. Chen Mengyan was secretly ashamed. She had practiced when she was a child. How could she compare with Lin Jiyun who had no contact with it? Picking up another flying knife, Chen Mengyan was serious this time. She held her breath and threw the flying knife toward the target. Lin Jiyun didn't know, but it was naturally impossible for Yang Ming not to know. He looked at Chen Mengyan's movements, and it was much more standard than Lin Jiyun's. Whether it was the throwing strength or the angle, it was much better than Lin Jiyun's. Yang Ming could judge that Chen Mengyan must have played with similar things before. Even if it wasn't a flying knife, it would be a dart or something like that. However, from the association to Uncle Chen's profession, Yang Ming didn't feel that there was anything strange. The flying knife was inserted into the wooden rake not far away. The remaining force made the handle of the flying knife still vibrate. Although Yang Ming was a little surprised, he wasn't too surprised because when Chen Mengyan threw the first knife, Yang Ming roughly understood her strength. However, perhaps because she hadn't thrown for a long time, her accuracy wasn't good. It wasn't surprising that the second knife could hit the target. However, Lin Jiyun was surprised and widened her eyes. She looked at Chen Mengyan incredulously. Sister Mengyan, you are so good. Chen Mengyan wouldn't be as thick-skinned as Yang Ming to admit it. She waved her hand and smiled with a blush. When I was young, I played this with my father in the army. It's just that I haven't touched it for many years, so I'm a little rusty. Yang Ming looked at the direction that Chen Mengyan threw the knife. He was somewhat helpless. Isn't this throwing too high? If she threw it low, I could catch it as soon as I leaned over, but this height, Yang Ming couldn't be helped. He had to jump up at the moment when the knife came over. The knife went into the apple, and Yang Ming also landed firmly on the ground. Yang Ming breathed a sigh of relief. He thought, if the training in Europe wasn't more perverted than this, I'm afraid I can't catch this knife. If I jumped a little lower, I would miss it. If I jumped a little higher, the knife would hit my head. Looking at Yang Ming's thrilling action, Chen Mengyan really regretted it. Why did I throw it so high? If she knew that Yang Ming would use this method to catch the knife, Chen Mengyan would rather take the risk and throw it lower than Yang Ming jumping up to catch it. Yang Ming took the apple on his head with a smile and cut it with a knife. He handed half of it to Chen Mengyan and the other half to Lin Jiyun. Eat the apple, Jiyun. Are you okay? Your sister Mengyan threw it so high, but I caught it easily. Lin Jiyun naturally saw the danger just now. She also knew that Yang Ming was really fine. Looking at his relaxed look, Lin Jiyun also breathed a sigh of relief. As long as she didn't throw it too far, Yang Ming should have no problem catching it. After eating the apple, with Chen Mengyan's previous demonstration, Lin Jiyun also became bold. She knew that she had to take this step sooner or later. It was a matter of time, but if she didn't seize the time to practice now, she really didn't have time. In the beginning, Lin Jiyun was still cautious. She was afraid that she would hurt Yang Ming. But later, seeing that Yang Ming caught it with ease and was really fine, Lin Jiyun also let go of it and threw it casually. However, the more casual it was, the smoother Yang Ming caught it. It seemed that in many cases, the mentality was the most important. Before going to bed, Lin Jiyun was already very skilled. Without the previous timidity, she could easily throw the knife out, but it was just a waste of apples on the table. Although Lin Jiyun was not short of money now, she was still very frugal and cherishing things in her bones. Seeing the table of cut apples, she was a little distressed. There are so many. We can't eat them all, right? They are all cut, and they will spoil soon. Yang Ming knew Lin Jiyun's character. Naturally, it was impossible to say that she would throw it away directly. It would make Lin Jiyun very uncomfortable, but he couldn't think of a good way. Even if he could eat more, he could only eat 4 or 5 apples at most. Lin Jiyun and Chen Mengyan could only eat 2 or 3 apples. How could they finish these dozens of apples? Yang Ming and Lin Jiyun were worried, but Chen Mengyan smiled and said, "Isn't that simple? When I was young, my mother always made canned fruit for me. I will make these apples into cans, freeze them in the refrigerator, and put them into small plastic containers. Sister Lin and I will bring a box to eat every day to school. We will finish it in a few days." "This is a good idea." Yang Ming nodded after listening. In this way, Yang Ming's mother also did it, but these things, as a man, Yang Ming didn't care about it. Unexpectedly, Chen Mengyan said, "I didn't expect you to know how to make canned food. What's so difficult about that?" Chen Mengyan snorted. "Like you don't know anything. Canned food is very simple. Just boil it with sugar water. Let's go, Sister Lin. Let's do it. Yang Ming, you go to sleep first. Don't wait for us." Yang Ming thought, "How can I sleep if you don't come? I finally returned home for 2 days. How can I go to sleep by myself? Let me help you." Yang Ming had to participate in the work. "Although I don't need to do the details, there must be someone who does the hard work, right? So many apples are carried to the kitchen. You have to do it for a while. If I help you, it can be done in one trip." "That's true." Chen Mengyan nodded. "Then I will give you a chance to be a coolie." Yang Ming broke into a sweat. "I need a chance to be a coolie. It's not easy to serve a beauty." Yang Ming found a large cardboard box and put the apples on the table into it with Chen Mengyan and Lin Jiyun. Then, Yang Ming walked to the kitchen with the box. The rest of the work didn't have much to do with Yang Ming. Chen Mengyan and Lin Jiyun first peeled the apple, then cut it into small pieces. They threw away the core and put it into a basin. Finally, they put it into the pot and boiled it. Yang Ming found that the cooperation between Chen Mengyan and Lin Jiyun was very tacit. It seemed that during this time, the two people often cooked, studied, and lived together. Done. Set the time. After a while, we will put it in the box. Chen Mengyan said as she washed her hands. Then go to the living room and sit for a while. Let's watch TV. Yang Ming saw that Lin Jiyun still wanted to tidy up the kitchen, so he took her hand and pushed her into the living room. Chen Mengyan turned on the TV and found that the TV was broadcasting about the promotion of Xu Ye's new album. Chen Mengyan and Lin Jiyun usually watched TV. The most they watched was the entertainment channel, so they didn't need to change the channel when they turned on the TV. When Chen Mengyan saw that it was Xu Ye's news, she put the remote control aside, hugged her legs, and sat on the sofa. She watched it with Yang Ming and Lin Jiyun. Sometimes, it feels so unreal. When I see Sister Suya on TV, it's hard to imagine that she will also be a member of our family. Chen Mengyan said with some emotion, don't make it seem so far away, but we are within reach. Yesterday, we even texted. Yang Ming was very grateful to Chen Mengyan's current attitude and emotions. She could think and say this, which made Yang Ming relieved. Chen Mengyan seemed to have never been jealous of Suya. This was something that surprised Yang Ming. It turns out that you still keep in touch. Yang Ming smiled and said, in school, did anyone ask you for Little Ya's autograph? Why not? My classmates know that the company I am working for now hired Shuya as a spokesperson, so they asked me for her autograph. Chen Mengyan said, I'm a little annoyed. Hee, I thought they saw you and Little Ya singing together. Yang Ming smiled and said, you said that you are working in the company. You didn't say that the company is your own. Who can remember the concert? There aren't many classmates who saw it. Chen Mengyan shook her head. I don't want to say too much about the company, so as not to be envied. Yang Ming listened to Chen Mengyan and didn't say anything more. In fact, it was not wrong to be low-key in school, so as not to cause some jealousy for no reason. There was the sound of the electronic stove in the kitchen. Chen Mengyan got up to prepare the canned food. Yang Ming and Lin Jiyun went to help. Chen Mengyan and the others bought a bunch of small plastic boxes. It was very convenient to store food one by one, and the ceiling was also very good. Early the next morning, Yang Ming first sent Lin Jiyun and Chen Mengyan to school, and then waited for Jing Xiaolu downstairs in her dormitory to go to the company together. Jing Xiaolu was on time. Yang Ming didn't even need her to speak. He changed seats with her and let her sit in the driver's seat. Jing Xiaolu didn't refuse and drove directly to the company. Specially dressed up. Yang Ming glanced at Jing Xiaolu on the side and saw a little difference. After being scolded by Yang Ming, Jing Xiaolu usually wore no makeup, but today she carefully put on nude makeup. Her skin looked more tender. Her eyelashes were also carefully clipped, and her hairstyle was obviously carefully combed. It seems that you still pay attention to me. Jing Xiaolu couldn't help but say proudly. Yang Ming was a little speechless. This Jing Xiaolu is really... Yang Ming coughed. Nonsense, you have the fragrance of cosmetics on your face. At such a close distance, of course I can smell it. Jing Xiaolu didn't care. She turned her head and blinked her bright eyes. Do I look good? It's okay. Yang Ming replied casually, but don't waste time on it. Jing Xiaolu rolled her eyes at Yang Ming and snorted. I was thinking that since you all stood up for me today, I have to dress up prettily. I can't lose face for you all. Didn't I ask you to speak on stage? Yang Ming shrugged, but he thought that Bao Sanli would probably announce the appointment today. Jing Xiaolu would become the focus of everyone. It was good to dress up, so he didn't say anything. Jing Xiaolu stuck out her tongue. Just as she wanted to say something, she suddenly pointed not far in front and said in surprise, Hey! Isn't that Wang Xiaoran and Yu Qi? Chapter 13:20. When the car was about to reach the company, Jing Xiaolu suddenly stopped what she wanted to say. She pointed to a man and a woman who were walking to the entrance of the company. Yang Ming, isn't that Wang Xiaoran and Yu Qi? Yang Ming looked in the direction that Jing Xiaolu pointed. The man was indeed Yu Qi. As for the woman, Yang Ming didn't know, but Jing Xiaolu said that it was Wang Xiaoran, so it should be her. Oh. That woman is Wang Xiaoran. Yang Ming frowned. She doesn't look very good. Why does Yu Qi like this kind of person? He likes me. I won't accept him. Jing Xiaolu rolled her eyes. I am very loyal. Except for you, I don't even look at others. Yang Ming only felt that his mouth was cheap. How did he bring up this topic? Jing Xiaolu's words now made it very difficult for him to answer, so he had to pretend to be deaf and mute. Jing Xiaolu seemed to be very happy with Yang Ming's current appearance. She smiled and quickly parked the car in the parking space in front of the company. Are you leaving in a while? Then don't park in the underground parking lot. Jing Xiaolu parked the car and said to herself. Yang Ming was a bit amused. Obviously, he just wanted to show off to Wang Xiaoran, but he made such a high-sounding reason. Even if he parked in the underground parking lot, it was very convenient to get in and out. There was no need to park at the entrance of the company. Only non-company vehicles would park at the main entrance of the company building because they couldn't find the entrance to the underground parking lot. They were not the company's employees, so it was more troublesome to get in and out of the parking lot. You will have your own car in a while. If you want to show off, you don't need to wait for a while. Yang Ming looked at Jing Xiaolu funnily. Besides, a person who is about to be fired by the company, what is the point of being angry with her? Jing Xiaolu was exposed by Yang Ming. Her face was red, and she denied, when did I? Yang Ming smiled and said nothing. It was not abnormal for Jing Xiaolu to be angry. Yang Ming also acquiesced to her approach. When Jing Xiaolu stopped the car, she deliberately grasped the time. When Wang Xiaoran and Yu Qi just arrived in front of the company, she stopped beside them. She opened the door arrogantly, scaring Wang Xiaoran and Yu Qi. Wang Xiaoran, of course, saw Jing Xiaolu who came down from the BMW, and her face stiffened. Of course, she was not stupid enough to think that Jing Xiaolu just met her, to be. To work. Wang Xiaoran couldn't stand Jing Xiaolu's smug look. Jing Xiaolu's words made her face pale. She snorted coldly, but she couldn't find the words to fight back. She was already weaker. Last night, she just talked about the car after work. Early this morning, Jing Xiaolu gave her a beautiful counterattack. The car was parked here. It was useless for her to say anything. Just as Wang Xiaoran was furious, she saw Yang Ming coming down from the front passenger seat. She felt that he was a little unfamiliar. She had never seen him before. She suddenly had a vicious plan. Xiaolu, who is this? Your boyfriend. Why haven't I seen him before? Don't tell me you really got this BMW. Wang Xiaoran didn't know Yang Ming. How could Yu Qi not know Yang Ming? When he heard Wang Xiaoran talking nonsense here, he was shocked. He could take advantage of Yang Ming's influence in this company and get a salary every day. If he offended Yang Ming, how could he have a good life? Thinking of this, Yu Qi quickly kicked Wang Xiaoran secretly to remind her not to talk nonsense. But Wang Xiaoran didn't understand. Just as she wanted to ask Yu Qi what he did for her, she saw Yu Qi run to Yang Ming with a smile. Cousin, how come you are here? Yang Ming didn't shake hands with him. He glanced at him and pointed to Jing Xiaolu. I sent Xiaolu to work, and I have a meeting to attend. Oh. Yu Qi was shocked. It turns out that Yang Ming and Jing Xiaolu are together. No wonder she doesn't like me. Wang Xiaoran was also dumbfounded. She wanted to ridicule him, but when she heard Yu Qi say that this was his cousin, Yang Ming, who was friends with the company's boss, Wang Xiaoran immediately didn't dare to talk nonsense. She dared to bully Jing Xiaolu before because she was sure that Jing Xiaolu didn't have any background. But today, when she really saw Jing Xiaolu and Yang Ming together, she was a little scared. It turned out that the rumor was true. Jing Xiaolu's boyfriend was indeed friends with the company's boss. Xiaolu, let's go. Yang Ming ignored Yu Qi and Wang Xiaoran and entered the company with Jing Xiaolu. Wang Xiaoran was scared and a little angry. Why? Why is Jing Xiaolu so lucky? Can I drive a BMW to work? The man I know is also so handsome, young, and rich. What am I missing? Looking at Yu Qi next to her, he was far worse than Yang Ming. It was a world of difference. However, Wang Xiaoran was not stupid. She knew that if she offered herself to Yang Ming would not accept it. Thinking of this, Wang Xiaoran was a little discouraged. She only had this life. She hoped that Yu Qi could give her more money to spend, and she would be satisfied. After waiting for Yang Ming and Jing Xiaolu to go away, she walked into the company with Yu Qi. That person is the rich cousin you mentioned. Why? Do you think he is good? Yu Qi was a little jealous. He had completely given up on Jing Xiaolu in his heart now, so he turned his attention to Wang Xiaoran next to him. Good. What's the use of being good? Isn't it because of that slut, Jing Xiaolu? I only have you in my heart. Wang Xiaoran knew her own weight. She could deceive Yu Qi, but Yang Ming was obviously not a simple person. How could he be so easy to deceive? Hee. Yu Qi smiled happily. However, don't talk nonsense. Don't scold Jing Xiaolu in the future, you still think of her in your heart. You don't want to listen to me scolding her as a slut. Wang Xiaoran glared and asked angrily. I'm talking about my cousin. His family is very capable here. Just don't provoke him. Yu Qi still wanted to mingle around for a while. How carefree was his life now? He didn't work, and he got a salary of 8,000 yuan a month. He was so carefree. It was much better than being scolded at home all day long. Why are you so cowardly? Isn't he your cousin? Can he not listen to you? Wang Xiaoran rolled her eyes. You are his cousin, so you should scold him. Yu Qi smiled bitterly in his heart. He thought, you really think too highly of me. It is good enough that his relative recognizes me. Do I dare to scold him? Of course, you can say it, but it's not good for you to scold him. Yu Qi said, now it seems that Jing Xiaolu's news is definitely a farce. It can't be taken seriously. Wang Xiaoran was dissatisfied. She was a dissatisfied person. Otherwise, she wouldn't change boyfriends one after another. When she saw a better one, she felt dissatisfied and wanted to continue to change. Originally, when she changed to Yu Qi, she felt that Yu Qi still had a lot of development potential, but compared with Yang Ming, this Yu Qi was a little worse. Even if they were relatives, they were just relatives. Yang Ming didn't seem to like him very much. It would be difficult for him to develop in the company. She just didn't know what his family did. Did they have money? It was just that it was too early to ask these things now. Wang Xiaoran planned to wait for a few days to familiarize herself with them before asking indirectly. If Yu Qi's family was rich, it didn't matter if she followed him. She would find a way to let his cousin promote him to be a company manager. It would be best if she could make some money. As soon as the two entered the company, they saw a big sign next to the elevator. At 9:00 in the morning, a staff meeting will be held in the conference room on the top floor. No one is allowed to be absent. Otherwise, you will be punished as absenteeism. Meeting. Why is there a sudden meeting? Wang Xiaoran looked at the sign and said, this is not the end of the quarter. Why is there a staff meeting? Did something happen in the company again? Previously, the two vice presidents of the company defected and took a lot of money. This was not a secret in the company, so a staff meeting was held. It was only a few days later. Why is there a meeting again? Who cares? Let's sit in the last row. No matter what they say, it has nothing to do with us. Yu Qi said indifferently. Why are you so unmotivated? You have a relationship with your cousin. If you work a little harder and become a middle-level leader, wouldn't there be a lot of opportunities to make money in the future? Wang Xiaoran was a little angry. Although she felt that it was very badass for Yu Qi to get a salary without doing anything before, now that she was with Yu Qi, she felt that Yu Qi should go further. How can I improve? I don't know anything about this company's management. I'm just using my cousin's name to mess around here. Yu Qi spread his hands and smiled bitterly. You talk to your cousin and let him arrange a position for you. Isn't it simple? Do you still need me to teach you? Wang Xiaoran said, are you relatives? Seeing Wang Xiaoran say this, Yu Qi had no choice but to say, okay, then I will try. Because the meeting notice was placed at the door of the elevator, the people in the company came to the office and put down their things. They took their notebooks and walked to the conference room. Seeing this situation, Wang Xiaoran also took a notebook and followed the people to the conference room with Yu Qi because there were too many people. The elevator had to wait for a long time, so many people chose to take the stairs. Anyway, it was early in the morning, so they treated it as exercising. Yang Ming and Jing Xiaolu went directly to the conference room. In the lounge next to the conference room, they saw Bao Sanli and Ho Jinhan. The two of them were discussing something. This lounge was dedicated to the company's leaders. Usually, the leaders would rest here before the meeting, but ordinary employees couldn't come in casually. So when Yang Ming took Jing Xiaolu to open the door of the lounge, the employees behind looked at Yang Ming and Jing Xiaolu with some surprise. Of course, they knew Jing Xiaolu, but Yang Ming had never come to the company, so they didn't know who Yang Ming was. Yang Ming and Jing Xiaolu took the elevator directly to the top floor, so they met the company's people when they got out of the elevator. They didn't have time to guess the relationship between Yang Ming and Jing Xiaolu before they saw this amazing scene. When Yang Ming and Jing Xiaolu entered the lounge together, the employees behind them talked about it. Who is the man just now? How did he enter the lounge for the company's leaders? Could it be that he entered the wrong room? Another person also said in confusion. Impossible. Even if he entered the wrong room, Jing Xiaolu behind him also entered the wrong room. Jing Xiaolu knows the company's rules. Another person said firmly, that man, could he be Jing Xiaolu's legendary boyfriend? Boyfriend? Didn't she post on the internet? Then another person asked in confusion. Are you stupid? This morning, I saw Jing Xiaolu and that man come together in a BMW X5. The license plate is 5/8. She originally drove here. Why did she post that she changed her car? Another person said. What if this car is a new one? The man asked again. The person who can drive this car with this license plate must be a badass person. If Jing Xiaolu really exchanged her body for a car, he wouldn't like her. The other person continued, so, this proves that the post on the internet is definitely fake. Cough, it's useless to say this. Won't we know in a while? A person waved his hand and said. Yeah, let's go in and have a meeting first. The previous person also nodded. However, when these people entered the conference room, they were stunned. It was because the name tag placed on the rostrum of the conference room had Jing Xiaolu's name. Although it wasn't in the middle, it was very close to the middle. It was closer to the middle than several vice presidents, but there was also a name that everyone didn't know. It was Yang Ming. He was next to Jing Xiaolu, and next to Yang Ming was Ho Jinhan. Next to Ho Jinhan was Bao Sanli. According to the current layout, the positions of Yang Ming and Ho Jinhan should be in the middle of the two positions, and the positions of Jing Xiaolu and Bao Sanli should correspond to each other. How did Jing Xiaolu run to the rostrum? People looked at the name tag on the rostrum in surprise. Who is that Yang Ming? I haven't heard of him before. Why is he next to President Ho? Another person asked. Yeah, could it be someone from the group's headquarters? someone said. However, the most surprised people were Wang Xiaoran and Yu Qi. The two of them also entered the conference room and sat relatively at the back. They didn't notice it at first. After sitting down, Yu Qi inadvertently found the name of Yang Ming on the rostrum. As he was about to show it to Wang Xiaoran, he found that the name tag next to him was Jing Xiaolu's. Jing Xiaolu is on the rostrum. Wang Xiaoran was so angry that she gritted her teeth. It's obvious that your cousin, Yang Ming, wants to touch her and give her a leader position. Maybe. Yu Qi had never figured out what the relationship between Yang Ming, Ho Zhenhan, and Bao Sanli was. He used to think that Yang Ming and them were just good buddies, and he was arranged to be a freeloader here. But today, it seemed that it wasn't the case. Yang Ming could actually sit on the rostrum. What did this mean? At the very least, it showed that Yang Ming should have shares in this company. The association said that Uncle's company was called Mingyang Heavy Industry, and this company was called Mingyang Entertainment. Would they really have a controlling relationship? Jing Xiaolu can be a leader. What do you lack? You go and do some activities. If you really can't do it, you can also get me on the rostrum. Wang Xiaoran felt that her qualifications in the company were not worse than Jing Xiaolu. She didn't get on the rostrum because she lacked connections. Yu Qi was a little helpless because of Wang Xiaoran's words. He was a person with no ambition, and he didn't want to be a company leader. It was enough to get a free salary and hang out with his girlfriend every day, but obviously, Wang Xiaoran was not willing to do this. Yu Qi had no choice. He didn't want Wang Xiaoran to be angry now, so he said, "Well, I can only try. I can't guarantee that it will work. Just try it. If you really can't do it, you can talk to your uncle directly." Wang Xiaoran thought about things very simply. In her opinion, if Jing Xiaolu could be a leader, Yu Qi would have no problem. In fact, it wasn't just Wang Xiaoran and Yu Qi who guessed that Jing Xiaolu was going to be a leader. Other company employees who entered the conference room saw this strange scene on the rostrum, and they all guessed it. No one was stupid. Those who could be on the rostrum were definitely not ordinary employees. They must have some status. Jing Xiaolu's name was now on the rostrum. If the staff didn't make a mistake, then there was only one possibility. That was, Jing Xiaolu was going to be promoted. This appointment might be announced at this meeting. Yesterday, they still laughed at Jing Xiaolu. Those who disdained Jing Xiaolu in their hearts began to be silent today. As for that rumor, it fell apart on its own. They didn't believe that this appointment would be sudden. Which company didn't talk to the person involved before appointing a leader? Therefore, they thought that Jing Xiaolu must have known about this appointment in advance. Since she knew about this appointment, who would pay the price of her body for a BMW car? Unless there was a problem. The salary of the ordinary staff of Mingyang Entertainment was already not low, let alone those leaders. After Jing Xiaolu was promoted to the leadership, her monthly salary would be at least 20,000 yuan to 30,000 yuan, or even more. With some bonuses, it was not a problem to get 500,000 or 600,000 yuan a year. In other words, even if she wanted to buy a car, not to mention the most expensive one, she could always afford a cheaper BMW, right? She could buy her own car in a year. Why would she use her body to exchange for the right to use a BMW car for a week? Taking a step back, even if Jing Xiaolu was in a hurry to use a car and couldn't wait for a year, with her salary, wasn't it easy to rent a car from the car dealership? Even if she rented the most luxurious car, the monthly rent was only tens of thousands of yuan, which was equivalent to her monthly salary. Why would she sell herself? Therefore, Jing Xiaolu didn't have to stand up to explain anything, and the rumor was already broken. However, at this moment, Jing Xiaolu didn't realize anything. She just thought that because of Yang Ming, Bao Sanli and Ho Jinhan arranged her position here. However, even if it was only once, Jing Xiaolu was able to show her face in the company. Those who talked about her behind her back would shut their mouths at this moment. The previous rumor that her boyfriend knew the company's senior management would also become a fact. Yesterday's unrealistic online rumor would also be self-destructed. Under the gaze of the company's employees, Jing Xiaolu walked to the rostrum with her head held high and chest out with Yang Ming. Looking at Jing Xiaolu's appearance, Yang Ming smiled slightly. Jing Xiaolu had just been questioned and misunderstood by her colleagues yesterday, so it was normal for her to hold her head high today. At least, when Jing Xiaolu sat on the rostrum, no one would associate her with the funny online post. In the beginning, Jing Xiaolu was still a little nervous. Sitting on the rostrum, she felt very uncomfortable. No matter whether she felt so prestigious or dazzling, she was somewhat restrained. Facing so many company employees under the rostrum, Jing Xiaolu felt a little restrained. Yang Ming also noticed this and smiled. It's okay. You can just treat them as flowers and plants. We will sit here and enjoy the scenery. Yang Ming naturally did not have stage fright. He had already passed the moment of stage fright. When he was in school, he didn't know what stage fright was when he competed with Ren Jianren of the Taekwondo Club. When Yang Ming and the others came to the rostrum, the employees below began to whisper. Most of their topics should be around Jing Xiaolu. It couldn't be helped. They didn't know Yang Ming. Naturally, they couldn't guess the identity of Yang Ming. However, Jing Xiaolu was different. She was originally an employee of the company. When she suddenly sat on the rostrum, it was inevitable that there would be some speculations. However, when everyone sat on the rostrum, the people below were quiet because the meeting seemed to be about to begin. The first to speak was naturally Ho Jinhan. Ho Jinhan had faintly shown the style of a superior. He was no longer the ignorant veteran. Ho Jinhan's words were concise and comprehensive. He briefly introduced the company's discipline and made a key explanation for the rumors in the company in the past 2 days. Posting malicious posts and slandering colleagues is a behavior that we strictly prohibit. This time, everyone is clear about the whole story. We have also investigated who did it. Ho Jinhan said word by word, if there is a contradiction, you can find us to mediate, but using this method to frame others has already constituted a crime. This is slander. We are a formal company and a positive group. I will never allow such a person with low moral integrity to mix in the company. However, does he really know who did this? Wang Xiaoran didn't believe it. She did it very secretly. It was impossible for anyone to see it. She felt that this must be Ho Jinhan's deliberate alarmism. Although if she admitted it, maybe Ho Jinhan could fulfill his promise and not fire her, it was difficult to guarantee that he would have a bad impression of her. It was unlikely that she would be promoted in the future with the help of Qi's relationship. Therefore, if she remained silent and pretended that it had nothing to do with her, this should be safer. However, does Ho Jinhan know who did it? Ho Jinhan waited for the people below to recover and continued, okay, now we will proceed to the second item of the meeting. President Bao, please read the company's latest rules and regulations. The previous rules and regulations were adapted from the Nightless Club's employee code of conduct. Many places were not in place, and there were many loopholes. It was not suitable for a large company itself. However, because of the urgency of time, and it did not affect the overall situation, it was not revised. However, the company had a series of accidents recently. 2 vice presidents absconded with donations, and the employee discipline was lax. Bao Sanli and Ho Jinhan did not sleep last night. They consulted several experts overnight and rushed out such a new set of company discipline. This time, the company discipline was targeted. The people below listened very carefully. Yang Ming also nodded secretly. Jing Xiaolu did not know the meaning of being called to sit on the rostrum. Jing Xiaolu was very smart, but sometimes the person involved could not see clearly. When everyone guessed that Jing Xiaolu was going to be promoted, she was in the dark. After Ho Xinhan waited for Bao Sanli to finish reading the company's discipline, he continued, "Well, the company's discipline will be printed in a while and sent to everyone. It will be implemented from the 1st of next month. Everyone will be given half a month to adapt." The employees below were relieved. They felt that President Ho was still very humane. At least, they had time to digest the new company's discipline. They would not inexplicably violate the company's discipline unknowingly before they could remember the company's discipline clearly. With half a month's time, they were basically familiar with and adapted to it. Everyone nodded to show their approval. Next, I will announce a few of the company's latest personnel appointments. Ho Xinhan's voice was very flat, but the conference room suddenly quieted down. This was a major event in the company. Everyone could not be sloppy. Although only a few people were promoted, most people had to listen clearly to who was promoted, whether there was any resentment with them, and how to deal with it in the future. After the company's management nomination and the approval of the board of directors, the original manager's assistant, Jing Xiaolu, will be appointed as the company's executive deputy general manager. She is mainly responsible for the work of the finance department, the personnel department, and the marketing department. Speaking of this, Ho Xinhan paused, turned his head, and said to Jing Xiaolu, "Vice President Jing, congratulations." Then, there was a warm applause. In fact, from the moment Jing Xiaolu sat on the rostrum, the employees below also guessed that Jing Xiaolu would be promoted. It was definitely not a low position. To be able to sit on the rostrum, one must at least be at the level of a deputy general manager. It was just that everyone did not expect that Jing Xiaolu would be promoted to executive deputy general manager. This was much more powerful than the ordinary vice president. Moreover, what everyone did not expect was that Jing Xiaolu was actually in charge of the three most important departments in the company. She was in charge of the company's financial power and personnel power. This was what Chu Daiming and Lu Chan used to be in charge of. They were also in charge of the procurement department. It was just that two people were in charge of 4 departments. Compared to Jing Xiaolu, who was in charge of 3 departments, there was no need to compare who had more power. If Jing Xiaolu was directly in charge of 4 departments, it would be somewhat eye-catching and unrealistic. Now, she was in charge of 3 departments, which was already the limit. Everyone cast envious gazes. Jing Xiaolu would be a rising star in the company. Regardless of her current age, even if she was still a student, it was undeniable that she had become the 3rd person with the right to speak in the company, second only to Ho Xinhan and Bao Sanli. However, in the applause, the one who was most overwhelmed was Jing Xiaolu herself. Jing Xiaolu was dumbfounded after Ho Xinhan announced the appointment. "I became the executive deputy general manager. So fast." She really couldn't believe the facts in front of her. Was this a dream? Happiness came too fast. She didn't have time to distinguish whether it was true or not. She was drowned in the applause. Yang Ming looked at Jing Xiaolu's silly look and couldn't help but laugh. "Xiaolu, congratulations." When she heard Yang Ming's words, Jing Xiaolu knew that all this was true. It was not a dream. She was really promoted to the executive deputy general manager. Next, she did not hear Ho Xinhan's several personnel appointments clearly. Her mind was in a mess, and it was blank. However, the next few appointments were not important. They were the department managers of some departments. They were not qualified to sit on the rostrum. There was a burst of applause. Apparently, it was to congratulate every employee who was promoted. Of course, the most upset was Wang Xiaoran. Chapter 1322. A relative is always closer than a woman, right? Why can't he take care of her? Wang Xiaoran was full of resentment toward Yang Ming, but she couldn't express it. After all, she had only known Yang Ming for a few days. Wang Xiaoran really didn't think too much. She was in a precarious situation. It was unknown whether she could continue to work in the company. She still wanted to be promoted. She was really overestimating herself. Next, let's invite the company's new executive vice president, Jing Xiaolu, to say a few words. Ho Zhenhan pushed the microphone in front of Jing Xiaolu. At this time, Jing Xiaolu had recovered from the previous surprise, but letting her speak was a bit, she was not prepared at all. Wasn't this forcing a duck to a perch? However, since Ho Zhenhan had already said it, Jing Xiaolu had no other way. She had to straighten the microphone, think about it slightly, and say, "Dear Chairman Yang, President Ho, President Bao, and colleagues. I would like to thank the board members of the Ming Yang Entertainment Group for their trust in me and appointing me as the executive vice president of the Ming Yang Entertainment Group. This is a challenge for me, but it is also a responsibility. I am deeply honored to have the opportunity to contribute a little to the work of the group. Thanks to everyone's trust, I am fortunate to be in this position. I will integrate into this role as soon as possible and devote all my enthusiasm to this work. Please believe that in the future, I will lead the group members to continue to learn, to make progress, and to work hard for the glory of the company. I will never let down the expectations of the board of directors and colleagues. Thank you." Jing Xiaolu's inaugural speech was fluent and natural. It was done in one go without the slightest hesitation and pretentiousness. Even Yang Ming was somewhat impressed by her. Previously, when Jing Xiaolu mentioned Chairman Yang, it made Yang Ming's forehead full of black lines. Isn't this pointing out that I am the owner of the company? However, this couldn't be said to be a secret, and there was no need to hide it. Chen Fei also roughly knew about it. Although he hadn't explained it personally, he believed that Chen Mengyan had also told him. The behind-the-scenes boss seemed to have known this fact long ago. Otherwise, the theft wouldn't have targeted the Ming Yang Security Company, so there was no need to hide it. Jing Xiaolu's next words immediately attracted Yang Ming's attention, and he no longer paid attention to this Chairman Yang. Yang Ming was 100% sure that Jing Xiaolu didn't know about this appointment beforehand. In just 10 minutes after the appointment, Jing Xiaolu could organize her words and say such words. Yang Ming couldn't help but admire her. Jing Xiaolu was indeed a talent. Although most of these words were empty words, it was still very rare. On the one hand, Jing Xiaolu was not prepared at all, and she did not know what her future work direction was. It was better to say some empty words than to say it randomly. These words were watertight, and no one could find fault with them. Yang Ming asked himself, even he might not be able to say these words so fluently. The applause sounded, and the employees below finally knew the identity of Yang Ming. After a long time, he was actually the chairman of the group. No wonder he could sit in the position of the rostrum. Although Yang Ming had never appeared in the company's public before, these people would not doubt the authenticity of Yang Ming's identity. After all, Ho Zhenhan and Bao Sanli were sitting by the side. There was only one person with the surname Yang on the stage. When Jing Xiaolu said Chairman Yang, she was obviously referring to him. It couldn't be anyone else. However, everyone was very puzzled. Why did Jing Xiaolu know Yang Ming? Moreover, some attentive people were also observing Yang Ming and Jing Xiaolu. They had whispered before, and it seemed that they were very familiar with each other. Did they have any unusual relationship? It was just a guess. No one could be sure, but the only thing that was certain was that Jing Xiaolu's position in the company would be very high in the future. The one who couldn't accept this fact the most was Wang Xiaoran. She was now not only jealous of Jing Xiaolu, but also a little jealous of Yang Ming. He was so young, but he was actually the chairman of the company. This was incredible. Your cousin is the chairman? Wang Xiaoran asked Yu Qi in surprise. I don't know. He didn't say it before. Yu Qi was also very surprised. His cousin was actually the chairman. No wonder no one cared about him when he was idling here. You don't know how to use such good resources. You are wasting your time. Wang Xiaoran said with some anger, if this is the case, you should talk to President Ho in a few days and tell him your thoughts. I believe he won't not give you face, right? Yu Qi thought, I really don't want to be a leader. I'm earning a lot now, and I'm carefree. Why would I care about that? However, since Wang Xiaoran asked, Yu Qi had no choice but to nod. Okay, I will go to him in a few days. At the end of the meeting, Yang Ming asked Jing Xiaolu, are you going back to school? I will go back. Jing Xiaolu had just become the executive vice president, and she hadn't had a good time yet. She was preparing to walk around the company in a while, but after listening to Yang Ming, Jing Xiaolu decided to go back to school with Yang Ming. After all, the time spent with Yang Ming was very precious. If she wanted to show off, she could do it any time. The situation of Jing Xiaolu and Yang Ming walking side by side also fell into the eyes of many people. It seemed that the relationship between the two people was really not simple. The rumor that Jing Xiaolu's boyfriend knew the company's senior management should be true. Perhaps Yang Ming was Jing Xiaolu's boyfriend. Therefore, everyone was not surprised that Jing Xiaolu could be promoted so quickly. They were not even jealous, only envious. Her boyfriend was the chairman. Who would be promoted if not her? In the future, the company would belong to her family. As for whether Wang Xiaoran found Ho Xinhan or Bao Sanli to take the initiative to admit her mistake, it was not Yang Ming's concern. Now, all the unfavorable rumors about Jing Xiaolu had disappeared. Even most people thought that Jing Xiaolu was not entrusted with a heavy responsibility before. It was just Yang Ming's experience for her. Now that the experience was almost enough, she was directly placed in an important position in the company. Yang Ming certainly did not care about how these people talked about it. He went downstairs with Jing Xiaolu, accompanied by Ho Xinhan and Bao Sanli. On the way, Bao Sanli received a phone call and then said to Yang Ming, Brother Yang, Xiaolu. Vice President Jing's car has been registered. The people from Mingyang Security have already sent the car to the company downstairs. Brother Bao, you still call me Xiaolu. Vice President Jing is not used to it. Jing Xiaolu smiled sweetly and said to Bao Sanli. She now wanted Bao Sanli to continue to misunderstand, so the more casual she was, the more Bao Sanli would feel that she was one of them. Well, then in private, call me sister-in-law. Bao Sanli nodded with a smile. This sister-in-law was very useful to Jing Xiaolu. She was happy to hear it. Just as she was about to nod and agree, she saw Yang Ming frowning over there. Jing Xiaolu was shocked and quickly said, just call me Xiaolu. If my colleagues in the company hear it, yes, then I will call you Xiaolu. Bao Sanli didn't think much. He thought that Jing Xiaolu wanted to avoid suspicion, so he agreed. For Jing Xiaolu's little tricks, Yang Ming was a little dumbfounded. He had told her a few times, but she still didn't listen. Yang Ming just let her be. He glared at Jing Xiaolu and said, your car is here. Drive your car back later. Jing Xiaolu pouted with some grievances. She thought, if I drive my own car, why do I go back? I just want to stay with you for a while before going back to school. However, Bao Sanli and Ho Xinhan were there, so Jing Xiaolu couldn't say it too obviously. When she went out of the company, she saw a brand new lake blue BMW parked at the company's entrance. Jing Xiaolu's heart was so excited that it almost jumped out. I have a car. In one day, not only did I become the company's executive vice president, but I also drove my own car. For the previous me, it was like a dream. Next to the car, a staff member in the Ming Yang security company uniform stood. Apparently, he was the one who sent the car here. Brother Yang. This person was obviously also a senior figure of the Ming Yang security company. Yang Ming didn't know him, but he knew Yang Ming. He knew that Yang Ming was a figure that even Ho Shinhan and Bao Sanli respected. After greeting Brother Yang, he said, "President Ho, President Bao, the car has been sent." Yang Ming didn't know him, but he nodded to him. Bao Sanli patted him on the shoulder and said, "Well done. You can go back." The security guard who sent the car nodded, stopped a taxi on the roadside, and left. Yang Ming let Bao Sanli and Ho Shinhan go back. Seeing that Jing Xiaolu didn't get in the car, he asked curiously, "Why don't you get in the car?" "I'm driving your car." Jing Xiaolu pointed to Yang Ming's car and said, "I bought a car for you. Why are you still driving mine?" Yang Ming looked at Jing Xiaolu inexplicably. "Do you like old cars?" "What?" Jing Xiaolu was so angry that she gritted her teeth. She opened the driver's door of Yang Ming's car without any explanation and got in the car. "Anyway, I'm driving yours." Yang Ming was confused by Jing Xiaolu's series of strange actions. He followed her and got in the car. "If you drive my car, how will you go back to the company later?" "I'll take the subway," Jing Xiaolu said firmly. Yang Ming was speechless. He understood Jing Xiaolu's meaning in his heart. In order to stay with him for a while, this chick would rather drive around and then take the subway back. This made Yang Ming really didn't know what to say. "Then drive, Vice President Jing." Yang Ming said helplessly, "You little girl, what did you mean when you spoke just now? What did you call me? I haven't settled the score with you yet." Yang Ming suddenly remembered that Jing Xiaolu called him Chairman Yang. He was a little annoyed, and he reached out and pretended to hit Jing Xiaolu. "I was nervous at the time, so I just said it casually." Jing Xiaolu straightened her chest and said without fear. "Nervous?" Yang Ming didn't see how nervous Jing Xiaolu was at the time. "How can you speak so fluently when you're nervous? Besides, who told you that I'm the chairman?" "I just guessed it." Jing Xiaolu didn't deny Yang Ming's words. Anyway, she had already said it, and she couldn't take it back. Could Yang Ming really hit her? You don't use your brain in the right place. You play tricks all day long." Yang Ming was really speechless with Jing Xiaolu. Such a smart girl, Yang Ming really didn't see a lot of Yang Ming. "Won't I use my brain in the right place in the future? You have to give me a platform to show off my skills." Jing Xiaolu smiled and said, "Right, you let me be the executive vice president." Yang Ming wanted to deny it, but he thought about it. If he told Jing Xiaolu that it had nothing to do with him, then Jing Xiaolu would definitely think that she was promoted based on her strength. She would be more proud, so Yang Ming snorted to show his agreement, but he didn't answer directly. "But I guess it's not you." Jing Xiaolu smiled instead. "However, President Bao and President Ho must have promoted me because of your relationship. Moreover, the company suddenly lacks 2 vice presidents. It's better to use someone familiar than to use someone new. Am I right?" Yang Ming rolled his eyes. "Why are you asking me when you know? Just focus on driving your car. I think your identity in the company is not compatible with driving a BMW, so I let you be a vice president just to drive. Are you satisfied now?" Only a ghost would believe it. Jing Xiaolu stuck out her tongue. Naturally, she didn't believe Yang Ming's words. "Uncle Wang, did you find it? Whose car is that?" Lu Jifei sat in an office in the Department of Motor Vehicles. Through his father's relationship, he found a section chief in the Department of Motor Vehicles to help him check Yang Ming's license plate number. The owner of the car is called Yang Ming. The registered address of the car is Songjiang Mingyang Security Company. Section Chief Wang said to Lu Jifei, "Why are you checking this? Are you interested in this license plate and want to buy it?" No, I have other uses for it." Lu Jifei smiled. He naturally wouldn't tell Section Chief Wang his thoughts. "Lu Jifei, if you have other ideas, I advise you to dismiss this idea. If you really like this license plate, it's fine to ask if they are selling it out of goodwill, but if you have other ideas." Section Chief Wang shook his head. "This car belongs to the Mingyang Security Company. You'd better not cause trouble." "Why, Uncle Wang? Is this Mingyang Security Company great?" asked Lu Jifei. "Lu Jifei, this Mingyang Security Company is an enterprise affiliated with the Municipal Bureau. They have a lot of connections in Songjiang." Section Chief Wang reminded, "Our traffic police team generally doesn't stop their cars. It's just a security company. What can they do with some connections?" Lu Jifei was still a little disdainful. "Is this Yang Ming a member of the security company?" "I don't know." Section Chief Wang shook his head. He didn't know much about the situation. It was just hearsay. "Who is the boss of the Mingyang Security Company?" Lu Jifei continued to ask. "I'm not very clear about this. I'm just a section chief in charge of the archives. How can I know so much? You have to go to the Industry and Commerce Bureau to check this." Section Chief Wang smiled bitterly. "Okay, thank you, Uncle Wang. I won't mess around." After Lu Jifei thanked him, he stood up and walked out of Section Chief Wang's office. He didn't take Section Chief Wang's words seriously at all. He went downstairs and came to the parking lot. He opened the door and sat in. Then, he said to Li Zhan, who was sitting in the driver's seat, "Let's go to the Municipal Industry and Commerce Bureau to check the background of the legal representative of the Mingyang Security Company." "Mingyang Security Company? What does it do?" asked Li Zhan, baffled. "The owner of the car is called Yang Ming. The registered address is the Mingyang Security Company. We have to first investigate the background of this Mingyang Security Company and the identity of Yang Ming," said Lu Jifei. "Oh, that's it." Li Zhan nodded and then said to himself, "A security company is so badass. Isn't he asking for a beating?" Lu Jifei smiled and didn't speak. Although he was dismissive of Section Chief Wang's words, it also reflected that the social background of the Mingyang Security Company was unusual. Therefore, Lu Jifei must figure out what kind of person the boss of the Mingyang Security Company was. If it was a government figure, it was better to avoid provoking him. Of course, it also depended on the relationship between Yang Ming and the boss of the Mingyang Security Company. Although the Lu family also had a lot of power in the officialdom, Lu Jifei was not stupid since it involved an official. It was better to avoid provoking such a person. Although the Lu family was not afraid of anything, it was very troublesome. If it was just a grassroots family, then it didn't matter. Lu Jifei could ravage it unscrupulously. When something happened, even if this Mingyang Security Company had a backer, with the strength of the Lu family, others would definitely give him face. The Lu family also had an office in Songjiang. Although it was not big, it also had contact with local official figures. The person who went to the Industry and Commerce Bureau was also a section chief. Although the position was not high, he could do things. Some things did not need to trouble the big leaders to come forward. For Lu Jifei's matter, as long as some small officials could solve it, there was no need to owe unnecessary favors. It was still the archives department. Lu Jifei met Section Chief Yen of the Industry and Commerce Bureau. "Uncle Yen, I am Lu Jifei." Su Xiaobin introduced me. The Su Xiaobin in Lu Jifei's mouth was the person in charge of the Lu family's office in Songjiang. Oh, I heard that you are the Lu family's young master. Welcome, welcome. Section Chief Yen showed a smile. He didn't know that Lu Jifei was just a descendant of a side branch. Su Xiaobin did not introduce him in detail. He only said that the Lu family's children came to him to check something. Section Chief Yen was still very willing to have a relationship with the Lu family for something as simple as lifting a finger. Uncle Yen, I am looking for you to inquire about the legal representative of a company. I don't know if it is convenient, asked Lu Jifei. Of course, there is no problem with this. Section Chief Yen heard that it was just checking a legal representative. Of course, this was not a big deal, so he agreed. Which company do you want to investigate? Tell me, I will help you check. Mingyang Security Company, said Lu Jifei. Oh. Chapter 1323. The Lu family's business in the north was very big. They were involved in various industries, including the bank escort business. They also had a security company, so Chief Yen thought that Lu Jifei wanted to seek cooperation with the Mingyang Security Company. Although the Mingyang Security Company was strong, it had not yet been involved in the escort business. Now, Songjiang's escort business was entirely done by a company in Donghai. If the Lu family's strong intervention, coupled with the cooperation with the local snake, the Mingyang Security Company, it was believed that they could soon conquer the local escort market. After all, the company in Donghai was an outsider. Lu Jifei saw that Chief Yen misunderstood, so he didn't explain too much. He hummed and said, "Yeah, we want to see if there is any possibility of cooperation. The legal representative of the Mingyang Security Company is Bao Sonli. You don't have to check this. I can tell you that he is a celebrity in Songjiang." Chief Yan heard that Lu Jifei just wanted to look up the other party's information before seeking cooperation, so he didn't take it seriously. So, he introduced, Bao Sonli used to be a little punk. He was in the detention center because of a fight. However, after he came out, he suddenly became popular and became a celebrity in Songjiang society. He formed the Mingyang Security Company, a little punk. Lu Jifei's face suddenly showed a disdainful expression after listening. In his opinion, this Bao Sonli's level was too low. He was actually a little punk. In his opinion, Bao Sonli was just lucky to encounter a good opportunity. It was not a big deal. Such a person had no foundation. It was fine to make a move on him. He didn't believe that a little punk could make any waves. In Lu Jifei's view, no matter how powerful this Bao Sonli was now, his relationship was based on interests. How could it be compared with his Lu family's decades of foundation? Even if there was no Bao Sonli, there were still Li Sonli and Wang Sonli. One more wouldn't make a difference. As for that Yang Ming, since he wasn't even the legal representative of the security company, he was probably just a small fry. Maybe he was just using Bao Sonli's name to mess around. So when Lu Jifei thought of this, he didn't take Yang Ming seriously anymore. Don't underestimate him. I dare say that there must be a master guiding him behind. Chief Yan was not stupid. He waved his hand and said, "How can a little punk make his business so big? Where did his funds come from? If he was really that powerful, he wouldn't have been sent to the detention center for beating up a few people from the health bureau." The guidance of an expert. Lu Jifei was stunned. He thought about it carefully. Chief Yan's words were not unreasonable. Indeed, no matter how powerful a little punk was, it was impossible for him to suddenly run out and set up a security company. He was just careless and did not consider this. I think he must have met someone who helped him. Or he is just a pawn, and he is just a spokesperson on the surface. Section Chief Yen analyzed. Lu Jifei wasn't the kind of dandy young master who didn't know anything. As a collateral member of the family, he knew more about mutual deception. Otherwise, he wouldn't spend so much effort to investigate Yang Ming's background. He would just find someone to beat up Yang Ming to vent his anger. It was because he was afraid that he couldn't afford to offend the forces behind Yang Ming, so Lu Jifei ran to several places early in the morning to investigate Yang Ming. Although the Lu family was powerful, there were still others who could contend with them. Even if they were weaker, he couldn't use the Lu family's name to do anything to them. This was because even the head of the Lu family didn't want to provoke such a powerful enemy. The reason why Lu Jifei had to find trouble with Yang Ming was that he felt that he couldn't take it. He was tricked by Jing Xiaolu, this little bitch. She tricked him into the hotel. He ate Viagra and went to take a shower. He was waiting to do something big after he came out. As a result, he found that Jing Xiaolu had already run away with the money. Even the money in his wallet was taken away. Lu Jifei was dumbfounded at the time. In order to have a good mood, he took Jing Xiaolu to a resort. There were no prostitutes there at all. Even if he called someone from the city now, he wouldn't be able to make it in time. He was already burning with desire. Lu Jifei, who almost exploded, had no choice but to fight 5 against 1. He took a flight all night. The next morning, his right arm was about to fall off. How could he bear this kind of humiliation? No man could bear it. He swore to retaliate against Jing Xiaolu. He would ravage her fiercely and make her feel like she was in heaven. However, the school information that Jing Xiaolu left for him was fake. Even her name was fake. Later, with Jing Xiaolu's photo, he finally found out Jing Xiaolu's real name and investigated her school. He wanted to give her an unforgettable lesson, but he didn't expect Yang Ming to interfere in the middle. That was fine. What made Lu Jifei unable to bear was that Yang Ming not only meddled in other people's business, but he also slapped his face. Although Lu Jifei was only a collateral descendant of the Lu family, with the Lu family's name, no one dared to beat him since he was a bully since he was a child. However, Yang Ming gave him a slap on the wrist. As a child of the Lu family, Lu Jifei was bullied. If Lu Jifei didn't get back at him, he wouldn't be able to raise his head in the family if this matter was spread out in the future. Therefore, he didn't delay. After going back that night, he found the person in charge of the Lu family in Songjiang and asked him for the contact information of some people from all walks of life in Songjiang. He was ready to inquire about Yang Ming's background early the next morning. Hearing that Chief Yen said that there was a master behind Bao Sanli, Lu Jifei was stunned. Could this master be Yang Ming? The reason why he thought so was that he got Yang Ming's license plate from the association. The license plate of Song B88B88 was not something that anyone could use. The auction price of this license plate was at least tens of thousands. He didn't see it clearly yesterday, so he thought it was Song B88888. However, after checking it at the vehicle management office today, the Song B88888 model was not a BMW X5. At that time, Lu Jifei thought it was a fake license plate. Fortunately, Chief Wang was knowledgeable, so he asked him if it was the Song B88B88. Lu Jifei didn't see it clearly. When he heard it, it seemed that it was possible, so he asked Chief Wang to help check the license plate of Song B88B88. Sure enough, it was a lake blue BMW X5 car. It matched the model of the car he saw yesterday, so it was confirmed. If this car was driven by Bao Sanli himself, then it was nothing. It was normal for the boss of a security company to drive this car. However, the strange thing was that this car was driven by Yang Ming. Moreover, it was not borrowed from the security company, but registered under the name of an individual. It was just that the address was registered in the security company. This showed that Yang Ming must be a person with authority in the security company. Otherwise, this car would not be registered under his name. Could it be that, as Chief Yen said, Yang Ming is the person behind Bao Sanli? Thinking of this, Lu Jifei felt that it was very possible. Because, if Yang Ming had nothing to do with the Ming Yang Security Company, then his car would not be registered at this address. It was also under a private name, indicating that Yang Ming's economic strength was very strong. In addition, there was a key point. Although it was just a guess, it was somewhat reliable. Yang Ming, Ming Yang. Would there be any relationship between the two? Coupled with Yang Ming's arrogant situation last night, even slapping himself unscrupulously, this made Lu Jifei feel that Yang Ming was the backer of this person named Bao Sanli. He was just a pawn. Thinking of this, Lu Jifei decided to start with Bao Sanli. He could use the pretense of cooperation as an excuse to indirectly understand Yang Ming's situation and background. Uncle Yen, can you help me make an appointment with this Bao Sanli? I want to invite him to have a meal and talk about cooperation. Lu Jifei decided to beat him at his own game. Since Chief Yen misunderstood, then he would continue to use this misunderstanding. I am not familiar with him. If I go without notice, he may not believe me. I want to ask Uncle Yen to be a middleman. Oh, it turned out to be like this. No problem. I will try. I just don't know if President Bao is willing to give me face. Chief Yen nodded. However, although he said so, he was quite confident. He was the chief of the Industry and Commerce Bureau. Ordinary companies would not easily offend him. If they could give him face, they would give him face. What's more, someone just wanted to cooperate with him and invite him to a meal. He did not ask for anything. Thank you, Uncle Yen. Lu Jifei quickly thanked him. Lu Jifei himself also ran a medium-sized investment company, relying on the Lu family's connections to earn some money through connections. To put it bluntly, in fact, many companies gave him a few small business deals to maintain his livelihood because of the Lu family's face. It was not that Lu Jifei did not want to make his own company bigger, but he did not have this opportunity. The family gave him 1 million as a startup fund and let him do whatever he wanted. They did not give him any other money. Every year, if a few of the Lu family's partners gave the Lu family face and gave him some money, Lu Jifei could not even start a small company. In a word, he could not participate in big business. There was no position for him to display his talents in the family company. Although the Lu family's family rules were very clear that whether it was a direct descendant or a collateral descendant, as long as they had the ability, they would be entrusted with important tasks. However, how could this ability be demonstrated? The direct descendants were arranged in various important positions within the Lu group. The collateral descendants either took 1 million as a startup fund to start their own businesses or were placed in idle positions in the Lu group. Even if they had the ability, they were not given the opportunity to display their talents. When they were talking about business, they could not even get in touch. How could they display their talents? After Lu Jifei was reminded by Chief Yen, he was keenly aware that there seemed to be a good opportunity in front of him. A good opportunity for him not only to take revenge but also to improve his status within the Lu family group. Although 1 million was an astronomical figure in the eyes of many ordinary people, in the eyes of the Lu family's descendants, it was just to send away beggars. I am a collateral descendant, so I have to be treated like this. A few generations ago, they were all brothers. My great-grandfather founded the Lu group. Why am I excluded from the core of the Lu group's power? As a matter of fact, those descendants who were entrusted with important tasks in the Lu group, not to mention the annual salary and commission, just the annual dividends of the shares allocated were a few million. What was 1 million? Of course, if you want to squeeze into the core of the power, you must rely on your ability. Lu Jifei was very excited. He didn't expect that he would find such a great opportunity just by finding trouble with a woman. If he really made this happen, he believed that the old man would definitely be very happy. It wouldn't be a problem to appoint him as the person in charge of Songjiang. At that time, his right to speak in the group would increase, and glory and wealth would be readily available. Section Chief Yen naturally didn't know what Lu Jifei was thinking in his heart. He thought that Lu Jifei really wanted to cooperate with the Mingyang Security Company sincerely. So, he planned to help him be a middleman. He believed that after this matter was done, he would not be mistreated no matter what. Anyway, he was a little bored in this position. Maybe the city leaders would pay attention to this matter and transfer him to the investment promotion agency as a small leader. He picked up the phone and dialed Bao Sonli's cell phone. These information could be found on the computer. Hello. Bao Sonli saw that it was an unfamiliar number, so he picked up the phone. Hello, is this Mr. Bao Sonli? Asked Section Chief Yen. He had to confirm Bao Sonli's identity first. Although this was Bao Sonli's cell phone number displayed in the Industry and Commerce Bureau computer, no one could guarantee that he gave this number to others. I am Bao Sonli. May I ask who is this? Bao Sonli asked, baffled. Hello, Mr. Bao. I am from the Industry and Commerce Bureau. Section Chief Yen introduced himself. My surname is Yen. Mr. Yen. What's the matter? Bao Sonli was a bit puzzled. Why would the people from the Industry and Commerce Bureau call him? This is the case, Mr. Bao. I have a foreign investor who wants to cooperate with you. He wants to treat you to a meal, but he doesn't want to disturb you. It just so happens that he has some personal relationship with me. Do you want to do me the honor and come out together? Said Section Chief Yen very politely. Oh. Bao Sonli frowned. A foreign businessman wants to cooperate with me. What can I get out of this cooperation? Could it be that he was a relative of some big shot's family and wanted to buy some shares to take advantage of the situation? Thinking of this, Bao Sonli couldn't help but hesitate, but he also understood that some people couldn't be offended. Although he had a good network in Songjiang, the person in charge was better than the person in charge. At least, this person from the Industry and Commerce Bureau couldn't be offended. Thinking of this, Bao Sonli said, well, since this is the case, let's do it at noon today or noon tomorrow. I have time. Well, then it's better to do it now. Let's do it at noon today. I will set the location and contact you again, said Section Chief Yen. Okay, I will wait for your call. Bao Sonli hung up the phone inexplicably. He didn't know what this Yen guy was playing at, but he didn't take it too seriously. After all, he didn't do anything illegal now, and he wouldn't be caught. Section Chief Yen hung up the phone and said to Lu Jifei, who was waiting, Bao Sonli has agreed. Can you book a place at noon today? Which hotel is more high-end here? Lu Jifei thought about it and asked. He wasn't a native of Songjiang. He came here mainly to find Jing Xiaolu for revenge. He met Jing Xiaolu when he came here last time. Chapter 13:24. Later, he went back. This time, the main purpose of coming here was to teach Jing Xiaolu a lesson. Unexpectedly, there seemed to be an unexpected gain. If you want to talk about high-end, then the Songjiang International Hotel is the best hotel here. Section Chief Yen said, but the price is more expensive. Lu Jifei thought, I'm not paying the bill. If I say that it's my treat, I will definitely find a reason to let Bao Sonli take the initiative to pay the bill. So, he said, then let's set it there. How would Section Chief Yen know Lu Jifei's cunning mind? He thought that Lu Jifei sincerely wanted to treat him, so he nodded and said, okay, then I will call and book a private room in a while. I will inform Bao Sonli. How about we set it at 11:30 a.m.? Okay, 11:30 a.m. then. Lu Jifei nodded, and he began to think about how to take over this Mingyang security company in a while. Section Chief Yen took the initiative to call and book a room. The Songjiang International Hotel was the only 5-star hotel in Songjiang. It was a little late to book a room at this time. After all, it was very popular. However, Section Chief Yen was from the Industry and Commerce Bureau. Although he was a section chief with no real power, he was still a section chief. He had no real power, but his colleagues did. Who could guarantee that he did not have a good relationship with a real power figure in the unit? Therefore, when Section Chief Yen introduced himself, the Songjiang International Hotel still gave him a reserved private room. Every hotel would have this kind of reserved private room. Even if it was full, it would not be booked. It was to prevent such an emergency. The relationships in this society were intricate and complicated. There were many people looking for connections. For example, Section Chief Yen had some small power, but it was hard to say whether there was a more powerful force in the circle behind him. Therefore, this kind of person's face should be taken care of as long as it did not violate the principle. Done. I booked a room. Section Chief Yen was a little proud. He thought that his face was still very useful. The Songjiang International Hotel's private room is very difficult to book. It can only be booked 2 or 3 days in advance. Even the foreign guests have to book in advance. However, you still gave me face. I squeezed it out of other people's hands. I knew that Uncle Yen must have a way. In the face of Section Chief Yan's boasting, Lu Jifei praised him noncommittally. The Lu family was in the hotel industry. How could he not know the rules? For a person like Section Chief Yen to book a room, of course, he would take out the reserved room. However, he didn't expose his lie and admit that he was bragging. In his heart, he was calculating whether he could take over Bao Sonli's company with the help of Section Chief Yen. Bao Sonli hung up the phone inexplicably. She wouldn't be easily deceived. With her following, it would prevent the other party from asking for too much and taking advantage of them unscrupulously. Then I will go back to the company to find President Bao in a while. Jing Xiaolu nodded. Lu Jifei asked Chief Yen to set the time, and then called Bao Sonli to confirm the time. Of course, Chief Yen would not follow along to the banquet. This old fox was very clear about his position. Before everything was clear, it was impossible to act rashly. Lu Jifei said that he was here to talk about cooperation, but his Lu family was a big business. Whether this cooperation was fair or not, it was hard to say whether the other party was willing or not. If he rashly intervened, he might not get the credit. Instead, he would be regarded as a collusion between officials and businessmen. His future career would be gloomy. Therefore, Chief Yen was not so stupid. He first set up a bridge and let Lu Jifei talk about it himself. Whether the negotiation was successful or not, it had nothing to do with him. When things were confirmed, he could pick the peaches again. After all, he was the one who initiated this matter, so he would not lose out no matter what. That's fine. I have already made an appointment with President Bao Sonli for you. You can go to the Songjiang International Hotel's room 208 for the appointment at noon. I won't go. Chief Yen said, there is still a meeting in the afternoon. There is not enough time. Lu Jifei originally had a conspiracy, so he certainly did not want Chief Yen to follow him. At that time, some things would not be easy to say, and it would be a hindrance. What he wanted Chief Yen to do was to set up a bridge and let him contact Bao Sonli. He did not need to worry about other things. Lu Jifei was overjoyed when he heard that Chief Yen could not go. Before this, he was still worried about this. He was thinking about what kind of excuse to ask Chief Yen not to follow him. As a result, before he could speak, Chief Yen took the initiative to say that he would not go. Was there anything better than this? Therefore, Lu Jifei pretended to be regretful. Chief Yen, it is a pity that you can't follow. But the meeting can't be delayed. Business is more important. I am already very grateful that you can help me set up a bridge. I will invite you to dinner alone another day. Chief Yen waved his hand and said with a smile, sure. However, he was calculating in his heart. If this cooperation is really facilitated by me, then I am also a meritorious person. How can I ask for credit from the leader? After Lu Jifei came out of the Industry and Commerce Bureau, he went straight to the Lu family's office in Songjiang. Su Xiaobin was also a relative of the Lu family, but he was at a lower level than Lu Jifei. He was not a relative, but a relative with a blood relationship. Therefore, Su Xiaobin was even more disliked within the group. He was sent to Songjiang, where the Lu family had no business at all. He was made the director of the Lu Group's office in Songjiang. It was said that he was going to expand the market, but the family had no connections here at all. With the office's annual budget of tens of thousands of yuan, where could Su Xiaobin expand the market? Who would cooperate with him? The money needed to build a relationship was more than this little bit. In fact, everyone knew this in their hearts. The Lu family's children in the group didn't take him seriously at all, and they didn't expect him to bring any business to the company. They just let him live in that remote place. Of course, in the eyes of ordinary people, Su Xiaobin's salary was already very comfortable. The monthly salary was more than 10,000 yuan, and the annual activity funds were kept by himself. He could get an income of about 200,000 yuan a year. This was almost the same level as those white-collar workers who worked hard every day, but Su Xiaobin didn't have to do anything. He played on the computer and drank tea in the office every day. The company's hiring quota for him was a driver and a secretary. He could drive himself, so he didn't need a driver. He could save 2,000 yuan a month in salary. He didn't need a secretary. He just asked his girlfriend to do it, and even the salary was saved. The two people could still have a romantic couple world in the office. It was so uncomfortable. This was a godlike life in the eyes of ordinary people, but Su Xiaobin was not satisfied. It was because others had not been exposed to the life of the Lu family's children. As long as they were exposed to it, they would feel extremely unbalanced. They had the same ancestral blood in their bodies. Why could they want to use glory and wealth to call the wind and summon the rain in the group, but they had to go to this remote place to be an office manager? It was said to be a manager, but in fact, it was a bullshit manager. Except for leading their own girlfriends, there was no one else. Therefore, when Lu Jifei came to Songjiang this time and found Su Xiaobin was keenly aware that this was an opportunity, a good opportunity to make a meteoric rise. Although Lu Jifei was also a collateral nephew, he was better than Su Xiaobin in one point because his surname was Lu, which meant that he was a member of the Lu family. Although he was a collateral relative, he had a higher voice in the group. He could even apply for 1 million in startup funds. As a collateral nephew of the Lu family, he didn't want to have 1 million in startup funds. Although he could get 1 million if he stayed here for 5 or 6 years, Su Xiaobin was not reconciled. He believed that Lu Jifei was not reconciled to just take 1 million in startup funds and wait to die. However, he did not show his thoughts. Lu Jifei asked him to help, and he did his best to help. Although Su Xiaobin didn't understand why Lu Jifei couldn't show up, since Lu Jifei wanted to pull him into a big business, how could he refuse? He quickly responded, "I am indebted to Brother Fei. I will do my best to help Brother Fei get the project here. Brother Fei, I will be your lackey in the future." Lu Jifei was still very satisfied with Su Xiaobin's attitude. He patted him on the shoulder and said, "In a while, I have an appointment with Bao Sanli, the general manager of the Mingyang Security Company, to talk about cooperation." "Oh? You want to cooperate with Bao Sanli?" Su Xiaobin was stunned and looked at Lu Jifei in surprise. "What's wrong? Do you know this Bao Sanli? Is there anything wrong?" Lu Jifei subconsciously raised his guard. "Fortunately, I didn't say too much. I know him." "How can I not know him?" "In Songjiang, people who are slightly popular know Bao Sanli's name." Su Xiaobin said, "I have been in Songjiang for more than a year. How can I not know his name? Is he very famous?" Lu Jifei frowned. "He used to be a big gangster here in Songjiang. He was as famous as another big gangster named Yu Xiangde. Later, he entered the detention center. After that, he drove Yu Xiangde out of Songjiang." Su Xiaobin said briefly, "After that, I don't know what happened. He started to do a serious business, and he suddenly became popular. Because of his previous identity, many people in Songjiang gave him face. He's just a little gangster. What can he do?" Lu Jifei heard that Su Xiaobin's words were similar to what Chief Yan said, so he was relieved. He snorted indifferently. "It's no big deal." Su Xiaobin couldn't help but be dumbfounded. This master is really from a big group. He doesn't put others in his eyes. If we want to cooperate with people, we have to show sincerity, right? This kind of attitude is not conducive to cooperation. Although Bao Sanli is nothing in your eyes, young Master Lu, he is also a well-known figure in Songjiang. We are looking for people to cooperate with us. If we still have this kind of superior attitude, it won't work." Lu Jifei didn't want to tell his plan to Su Xiaobin now. He was afraid that Su Xiaobin's mouth was not tight enough and would mess things up. Secondly, he was afraid that if he told Su Xiaobin would be timid and not dare to continue with him. Looking at Su Xiaobin's tone and appearance of being afraid of Bao Sanli, Lu Jifei felt that he couldn't tell his plan to him, at least not for the time being. I have this temper, so didn't I ask you for help?" Lu Jifei smiled. "You know that the environment I lived in when I was a child was like that. I rarely humbled myself to people." Lu Jifei began to talk nonsense. Anyway, Su Xiaobin didn't know, so he could talk nonsense. It turned out to be like this. Su Xiaobin nodded. "However, we have to stress on harmony when doing business. Inequality will offend people very much." "Yeah, but it doesn't matter. You are an expert in this regard. These social activities will be handed over to you." Lu Jifei said, "I will tell you what I want to talk about in a while. You just attend the banquet for me. I won't show up." Chapter 1325. "Okay, no problem." Su Xiaobin agreed. He was deeply honored and delighted to be able to participate in Lu Jifei's investment plan. This was an opportunity that he had been waiting for many years. If he could make this deal, then his position as the small Songjiang company's office manager would naturally rise. There was a real business here, and it was made under his own promotion. Even if those people in the head office wanted to take the credit, they had no way. After all, he was the office manager. They could either promote him to the group or let him continue to be the office manager. However, at that time, he could not be the leader without an army. This office would at least be upgraded to the level of a branch company. Of course, Su Xiaobin was not afraid that the Lu family's children in the group would promote him secretly and transfer him to an idle position within the group. It was obvious to all that he facilitated this business. If the group treated a meritorious person like this, who would dare to sincerely expand the business in the future? Who would dare to work for the company? Even old Master Lu, who did not care much about the company's affairs, would not allow such a thing to happen. This would hurt the foundation of the group. These problems could destroy a towering tree. One of the most important businesses of our Lu family is the bank deposit business. Do you know this? Lu Jifei began to introduce his family's business to Su Xiaobin in detail. He wanted to create an illusion that the Lu family was very sincere to Su Xiaobin. Only in this way could Bao Sanli's Ming Yang Security Company be deceived step by step. Now, Lu Jifei didn't care whether this Ming Yang Security Company had a relationship with Yang Ming. Even if the relationship was not big, he decided to mess with him. After all, this was a good opportunity. Who let this Bao Sanli be unlucky? In Lu Jifei's eyes, he represented the Lu family. When Bao Sanli suffered a loss, he would let Bao Sanli find the Lu family to settle the account. Bao Sanli was a low-level person with a small punk background. What could he do to him? Lu Jifei felt that any individual character was weak in front of an absolute family alliance. Old Master Lu's words could make him betray his family, and he could no longer mingle in the business world. Therefore, Lu Jifei came up with a sinister idea of borrowing the chicken to lay the eggs. If this Ming Yang Security Company had a relationship with Yang Ming, it would be a lesson to Yang Ming. If this security company had nothing to do with Yang Ming, then Bao Sanli deserved it. It turns out that we want to do the bank deposit business here. Su Xiaobin's eyes lit up after listening. Old Master Lu of the group valued this business very much. He also knew that if the Lu family successfully brought this business to Songjiang with his help, Old Master Lu would definitely look at him in a new light and entrust him with a heavy responsibility. It would be a problem sooner or later. Thinking about it, Su Xiaobin felt his blood boil. But you'd better not mention me. I don't want to show up in public. When you are talking about business, you can say that you represent the Jiangyan group of Haiqing City. Lu Jifei said, I am different from you. After all, my surname is Lu, but you are a collateral nephew. If I do it too obviously, it's hard to guarantee that it won't give people the impression that I want to fight for power, which is unfavorable to my future development. But you are different. Although you are a child of the Lu family, you are an outsider after all. No matter how much you develop in the future, you can only exist as a senior white-collar worker of the group. Old Master Lu can't give you the power of the group. That's true. Su Xiaobin was overjoyed. The more low-key Lu Jifei was, the greater his own contribution. Thinking of this, the joy in his heart was indescribable. Brother Fei, don't worry. I won't mention you. Your worries are well-founded. After all, your surname is Lu, and you are very close to Old Master Lu. You can't be considered a distant relative, so it is very wise to avoid those direct children suppressing you. Yeah, I'll have to trouble you. Lu Jifei's face was as usual, but he said in his heart, Idiot, do you really think I'm low-key? If there is a chance to show myself, how can I give it to you? It's just that Yang Ming has seen me before, so it's not good for me to show up. It's better to be safe than sorry. If Yang Ming recognizes me and reminds Bao Sanli to be vigilant, my plan won't work. Therefore, he decided to be a behind-the-scenes manipulator. Moreover, the identity of this Bao Sanli was not completely unscrupulous. Although he disdained Bao Sanli on the surface, he still knew that this kind of gangster origin would have some bandit aura. If he embezzled the property of Bao Sanli's company, Bao Sanli could do anything in desperation. In Lu Jifei's view, this kind of person couldn't turn up the storm. He couldn't shake the foundation of the Lu family at all. But this person's life is worthless. What if he fights with me? I'm a piece of porcelain, and he's a broken stone. Isn't it stupid to fight with him? With Su Xiaobin's participation, when I leave, Su Xiaobin will still stay in Songjiang. When Bao Sanli wants to find someone for revenge, he can only find Su Xiaobin. Thinking of this, Lu Jifei smiled insidiously. He felt that he was a genius. He could come up with such a badass idea. Looking at Su Xiaobin's excited face, Lu Jifei felt that he was a schemer. In a small courtyard of a single-family villa, an old man dressed plainly, squinted his eyes, and held an old-fashioned radio in his hand, listening to opera leisurely. The elegant and luxurious decoration environment and the old man's clothes formed a sharp contrast with the 80s radio in his hand. But he didn't care. This person was Fong Tian. Because the relocation of Shantytown was imperative, Yang Ming couldn't let Fong Tian be a nail in it. It would be too conspicuous, and it would be unfavorable to Fong Tian's identity. Therefore, Yang Ming bought a villa for Fong Tian in a relatively quiet community. Originally, Yang Ming meant to buy a villa in the Huaxiang district, but Fong Tian was unwilling to come over. He had feelings for the old place. Yang Ming had to buy a villa for Fong Tian in the wealthy area next to Shantytown, which was his uncle's house. Sun Jia also had a villa there, but she usually didn't live there. She usually lived in a high-rise apartment not far from the company. She only went to the villa occasionally with Yang Ming. Since he bought a house for Fong Tian here, Yang Ming also bought one for himself and one for Lin Jian's family. Although he didn't live there for the time being, it was good to have a place to stay. Yang Ming sometimes needed to ask Fong Tian for some things. It was impossible to not have a place to live. He couldn't always live at Sun Jia's place, right? Fong Tian didn't have much luggage. A few broken boxes, a few clothes, a broken TV, and a broken radio. Although Yang Ming gave him a 55-inch LCD TV and high-end sound equipment, Fong Tian still insisted on bringing his broken things. Yang Ming found it difficult to understand Fong Tian's feelings, but he didn't stop him. A phone rang. Fong Tian touched the side and took out a mobile phone. This was a knockoff phone with a large screen and a large volume for the elderly. The Apple iPhone that Yang Ming had bought for him was thrown aside by him. He had spent 100 yuan to buy this knockoff phone. For his behavior, Yang Ming was very speechless. The reason was very simple. Fong Tian felt that the Apple iPhone had too many functions, and it was inconvenient to use. Yang Ming was really embarrassed. Why did too many functions become a problem for him? After glancing at the caller ID, Fong Tian's sleepy eyes suddenly opened. He also restored his usual shrewd look. The SIM card had opened the international caller ID function. Fong Tian's friends were all over the world. Many of them were overseas, such as Fatty Lee from Vietnam. In order to confirm who was calling, Fong Tian applied for the international caller ID function. The monthly cost of this function was quite high. Most people wouldn't apply for this service, except for Fong Tian who had special needs. Hello. Old Wang. Fong Tian picked up the phone. Why did you think of calling me, this old guy? The person on the other side of the phone held back for a while. Obviously, he was quite uncomfortable. After a while, he finally couldn't help but swear, "Fuck, old man Fong, what do you mean? I'm 1 year older than you. If you're an old guy, am I not going to die soon? Looking at your tone, you seem to be in a good mood." Fong Tian didn't mind. He knew that the more Wang Songshan talked to him in such a tone, the better his mood was. However, if he was serious and depressed, it meant that he was in trouble. "It's okay." Wang Songshan admitted it and smiled. "I heard that your apprentice and my baby daughter started the Black Butterfly Assassin group together. They are doing very well." "Heard your ass." "You just heard." Fong Tian said angrily, "I don't believe that you didn't secretly follow up and investigate. You even found out." Wang Songshan didn't care. Isn't it popular to talk like this now? Look at those young people. They are all saying things like heard, said, and so on. Fong Tian rolled his eyes. Do you have something to do? I'm listening to the storytelling. I don't have time to talk nonsense with you. It's daytime here, and midnight here. Do you think you have something to do? Wang Songhan said angrily. Oh, it turns out that you can't sleep, so you came to harass me. Fong Tian said after listening, then I'll hang up. Dan Tianfang is going to start the storytelling soon. You old bastard, wait. Wang Songhan was about to explode. I mean, if I have nothing to do, why would I call you in the middle of the night? Fong Tian turned off the radio and put it aside. Well, what's the matter? Say it. It's like this. I suddenly thought of something fun. Do you want to play with me? Wang Songhan lowered his voice and whispered. What's fun? Fong Tian was also interested. Generally speaking, if Wang Songhan said that he had something to do with him, then there must be something. So Fong Tian also became serious. Let's play a game of breaking off the engagement. Wang Songhan said mysteriously. What's the matter? What did you say? Break off the engagement. Fong Tian was shocked. Old Wang, what are you doing? Who broke off the engagement with who? Didn't I break off the engagement with your sister long ago? It's not you, it's my daughter. Wang Songhan was speechless. He thought, when I mention my sister, this kid's reaction is so intense. He's already so old. After a few days, I'll call my sister back and matchmake them. Maybe they will succeed. My family will have double happiness. Your daughter is engaged again. When Fong Tian heard that it was about Wang Xiaoyan, he immediately asked curiously. Isn't she engaged to your disciple? It's with Yang Ming. Who else could it be besides him? Wang Songhan said helplessly, Old man Fong, is there something wrong with your brain? Who else can my daughter have a marriage engagement with? Break off the engagement. What do you mean? Old man Wang, are you fucking taking the opportunity to take revenge? Fong Tian was anxious when he heard it. I don't want to marry your sister, so you want to get back at me and not let your daughter marry my disciple. If she doesn't want to marry, then forget it. Then break off the engagement. You fucking think that I'm old and confused. My daughter has been coaxed to bed by your disciple. If she doesn't marry him, who else can she marry? Wang Songhan said anxiously, I'm telling you. Let's break off the engagement. Has your brain been squeezed by the door recently? Can't you understand human language? I can understand human language. Fong Tian said faintly. Wang Songhan really wanted to kill Fong Tian through the phone line, but he didn't have that ability. Do you understand how to break off the engagement? And, tell me. I'm listening. Fong Tian didn't want to tease him and asked. Back then, when we arranged for them to be engaged, weren't these two children unwilling to accept it? My little princess even ran away from home because of this. It made us worried. This time, let's play a trick on them. What do you think? Wang Songhan said his thoughts. Play a trick on them. Oh, I roughly understand what you mean. Fong Tian said after listening, you mean that you agree to Wang Xiaoyan's request to break off the engagement, and I won't force my disciple to marry your daughter. Then, they will find out that it is a tragedy. That won't be a tragedy. We'll just play a big joke on them. Wang Songhan saw that Fong Tian's guess was not far from the truth, so he said, it's almost like this. We agree that they should break off the engagement. However, they have to meet each other and say that although they can't get married, they still have to sit down and have a friendly discussion even if they want to break off the engagement. Then, they will be dumbfounded when they meet, right? Fong Tian heard it. This idea is good. Interesting. This Wang Songshan is really sinister. He can even think of such a constructive idea. Ha, that's it. I'm so happy when I think of the two of them being at a loss when they meet each other. Wang Songshan laughed. Old Wang, how did you come up with this idea? This is too. Fong Tian sighed. Hee, I have nothing to do recently, right? I have nothing to do, so I went to the Chinese website to read novels. I found that books about breaking off an engagement are very popular. I came up with this idea while reading. Said Wang Songshan. Breaking off an engagement. What do you mean? Asked Fong Tian. It's like in a novel where the protagonist's engagement is broken off, then he works hard to practice martial arts and becomes awesome. Look at the more popular ones. There's something like a proud sword soaring through the clouds, battle through the heavens, long live the summoner, and so on. Moreover, I've recently been reading a super good book called Supreme Magic Swordsman. The author writes 10 chapters a day, and it's very good. I recommend you to read it, and then you'll know what breaking off an engagement is. The book number is 1700961. Ugh. Fong Tian was confused, but no matter what this marriage annulment trend was, Wang Songshan's idea was quite interesting. Let's talk about reading books later, but I have decided to play this marriage annulment game with you. Hee, in fact, breaking off an engagement is almost the same as getting engaged. I will find all my friends in the industry to be witnesses and let the two children get engaged. And, that's fine. Then, let's do that. I will talk to my apprentice in a while. Fong Tian nodded and agreed. I will also talk to Yan. Wang Songshan said with a smile. So, after Fong Tian hung up the phone, he called Yang Ming. Yang Ming walked into the classroom, and the phone rang. He didn't want to pick it up, but when he saw that the caller ID was from Fong Tian, Yang Ming couldn't not pick it up. Old man Fong, what's the matter? I am in class at school. Yang Ming lowered his voice and lowered his head to pick up the phone. Although Yang Ming was used to skipping classes in school, and the teachers didn't care about him, he wouldn't brazenly do his own things in class. After all, he was Xiao Qing's godbrother. If he didn't perform well, others would naturally have opinions about Xiao Qing. Even if these people didn't dare to say anything, Yang Ming didn't want to be despised. Come to me later. I have something to tell you. Fong Tian said, then you go to class first. We will talk about it later. Okay, I will come at noon. Yang Ming promised and hung up the phone. You are quite busy with your business every day. Tian Donghua saw that not only was Yang Ming late, but he also picked up the phone as soon as he entered the classroom. He smiled. How can I be as busy as you? You probably can't even find your own classroom, right? Yang Ming smiled. You are really amazing at picking up girls to this point. Bro, don't underestimate me. Tian Donghua pointed to a few books on his desk. I have been reading books on marketing so that I won't lose face for you. If you let me manage Donghai's company in the future, I will lose money for you. Then, I will fail to live up to your recommendation and trust. Yang Ming was just joking. He was clear about Tian Donghua's recent performance. This kid worked harder than before. His dormitory was full of marketing books. It seemed that he really wanted to do a big business. It's good that you have this ambition. If you persist, you will win. Yang Ming patted Tian Donghua's shoulder. Have you contacted your dad recently? You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.